Nashville's best sports talk.
Crank it up.
102.5 and 106.3.
Cranks it, he scores!
On both sides of the one big possession.
Touchdown, Middle Tennessee.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's showtime.
And welcome into the Thursday edition of Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knesvik here with you on this Thursday morning. Happy Thursday morning to everybody. Joe Rexrode, how are you?
Yeah, happy Thursday morning. I'm fine. Pretty excited to watch the Miami Heat play some basketball last night. They were
so
good, man.
Yeah, they did look good. Michelle Knesvik, good morning. How are you doing?
We are one day closer to Friday, guys. I'm
We are?
doing good. The designer bags under my eyes right now are looking good.
Designer bags, nice.
You like that?
How about those Miami Heat last night? They take down Boston on the road. Jimmy Butler with 6 steals last night. The kid is playing out of his mind. He's not a kid. He's older than me. But he's playing out of his mind in the playoffs so far. And the Heat win 123-116 on the road against Boston. And in the ESPN Analytics series that gave the Heat a 3% chance to win, they start off 1-0 in this series.
Yeah, after watching the first half, of course, huge sweeping takes for a whole series. I'm like, man, I just think Boston's too good defensively.
Yep.
It's like I'm watching them play. It's like, Boston has guys Miami struggle to guard. Miami doesn't have anybody that Boston struggle to guard. And then they score 45 in the third. So there you go. Blow up that whole thing. It was tremendous. And I do think, you brought up, you had your rant about Spoelstra.
He schooled that guy last night.
Yeah, I do feel like there is a fair amount of, like Stan Van Gundy about 3 or 4 times in the game. He's basically saying, what is Joe Mazzulla doing here? And especially now, he was right. There was at one point he's like, they're going to need to call a timeout and say, hey, Jason Tatum should probably shoot and drive. And then they tried it and they turned it over the next possession. But at least they did that. But yeah, awfully impressive. Miami is a special team, man. And Bam is boy, is he good.
He's got to play like that.
Yeah, and they're not going to help on him. And so, or maybe they will at some point. Maybe they'll adjust that. But right now, I get it. And the way they did it didn't work in the second half at all.
Did not work in the second half at all. And, Bam played big last night. The Gabe Vincents and the Max Struesses and the Caleb Martins of the world, they continue to come up big. But, Jimmy Butler is he's the driving force of that team. 35-7. He had 6 assists last night. Him and Michael Jordan are the only ones to have over 35, 5, and 5 in a playoff game on the road in the history of the NBA. And, look, I've watched the Heat for a long time. There's probably never going to be a team that I enjoy more than the 2013 Miami Heat just because that's a very special team to me. I enjoy this one for a completely different reason. Like, I keep thinking that the balloon's about to pop, and it just hasn't popped yet, and I enjoy watching it. I'm just going to ride it out as long as I can.
It's fun, man. He's incredible. Those little baseline, mid-range jumpers,
yeah.
And then he'll get in the lane, and those guys, like you said, all those guys you listed, just spot up at the corner, man. Get ready and be ready to shoot. And then Kyle Lowry, I feel like I'm watching the 2009 Final Four in Detroit all over again with Kyle Lowry out there. Like, whoa, what's going on with this guy? He kind of kept him alive in the first half.
There have been times that he's been in Miami where I've watched him play out there, and I'm like, man, he looks like he can barely walk out there. And then he's come up big so far in the playoffs and in the role that he's playing. Got game 2 tonight between the Lakers and the Nuggets. So the Nuggets up 1-0 and the Heat on the road up 1-0 in the NBA playoffs and the conference finals. And this is a big one for L.A. tonight on the road, taking on Denver in Game 2.
Yeah, it's they did. I will say this: it's probably good for them that they got some momentum and they made a comeback and they didn't get blown out. But you know what? You could make a case that getting blown out in Game 1 would have been better because LeBron played the whole game to try to finish that comeback, and we know how it's kind of been like LeBron here and there. He'll kind of have an old man night, so can't have one tonight.
Nope, can't have one night. They need him to be at the top of his game, and we'll see if the Lakers can respond on that front. In other news, for those who may be interested, the Milwaukee Admirals win last night. They're up 2-1 in that series, so that's a best of 5. They got to play the next 2 on the road in Texas, so we'll see if the Admirals can close that out and go to the conference finals. So big win for the Milwaukee Admirals last night as well. I got a question for you two to start the show off today, because I was thinking about this yesterday. Now, obviously, when the draft came around in the NFL and the actual draft itself and what the Titans were going to do was the storyline, but pretty much on draft day, Lamar Jackson signs a new deal with the Baltimore Ravens, and we know about that saga that took place this offseason. And I was thinking about 2 teams that have had very different off seasons in the AFC. They're very interesting to me. One being the Ravens, with all the stuff going on around Lamar. You get Odell Beckham in there. They draft Zay Flowers in the first round, and if they stay healthy, I think they got a chance to be pretty good. And the other, the New York Jets, bringing in Aaron Rodgers, making the big move, bringing in half of the Packers wide receiving core from last year with Lazard and Cobb and all these other guys. They made some big changes. They have lots of talent on defense. I ask both of you right now, who do you think is better this year? Is it going to be Baltimore? Is it going to be the New York Jets?
That's a great question.
Thank you.
First of all, both of them, you bring both of them up, they both work together to make things harder for the Titans. There's 2 more teams in the AFC that I think are definitely better. I mean, obviously, the Ravens are better than they were at the end of last year when they almost won at Cincy still in the playoffs, by the way.
Oh, when you have 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks. Yeah,
that's right. They did have another Pro Bowl quarterback leading the way. But you know what? I love a lot of what the Jets already had. That's the really interesting thing. You're talking about a dominant defensive lineman right in the middle of that defense that makes everything go. Really good corner. I mean, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I might go Jets. I might go Jets because I as far as I know, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't have any sort of thumb issue or anything like that, I expect him to have a big year throwing the football. I don't know why he wouldn't. If he's going to play at something close to the Aaron Rodgers level the last few years with everything else there, I think they could be really good. So I think it's close, though, because, Lamar Jackson back, got the contract, has some receivers. I just actually wonder a little bit about Baltimore's defense. I think it's eroded a little bit. Yep. And I'll go Jets.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the similar page as you, but it is a really good question. I was actually thinking about this the other day when we were looking at the AFC. I look at the Jets roster, and from top to bottom, just through the draft, they really just needed that quarterback, and then to go and get a guy like Aaron Rodgers. I know last year, he struggled a bit, but to be now a part of this roster, we know what he can do. He's coming off, 3 years ago, 2 MVP seasons. So I give them the slight edge, and I worry about Baltimore a bit just because of all of this drama in the offseason. You switch your offensive coordinator. Okay, you go get OBJ, but what does his health look like? He still is older. We know what he can be, but he is coming off a second ACL tear, hasn't played in a year. Zay Flowers, okay, good, but he's still a rookie. And Lamar, he hasn't been healthy, so that's also a big concern for me. So I'm going to give the slight edge to the Jets. I just feel like Baltimore has more moving pieces that would have to click for them to be pretty successful.
The thing is, I agree with both of you. I think I'm going Jets too. The interesting part about this is I was going through those win totals and over-unders we were talking about the other day, and FanDuel's got Baltimore at 10.5.
Wow.
And the Jets at 9.5.
Interesting. 10.5, man. That's a number.
It's a big number. And look, I guess that I would give the edge towards the division to the AFC East as a tougher one. Like when you got Buffalo, and I think Miami has a chance to be pretty good. And I'm not huge on New England, but they do have Bill Belichick, so I guess you have to factor that in mind. But the AFC North, you've got the Bengals, who I think might be outside of Kansas City the best team in the AFC. And the Browns, I have no idea what they're going to be. They could be really good. They could be bad, depending on what version of Deshaun Watson shows up. And if you ask Junie, the Steelers are going to the Super Bowl. So
and you got the best roster in the NFL.
Yeah, the AFC North, they could be in real good shape. So I think I would give the edge to the AFC East. It it was interesting to me because I do think there are more question marks with the Ravens, and yet the win total for them over-under is higher.
Yeah, that is interesting. Those win totals, though, you go through those, and there's some weird ones.
There are. Carolina's the same as the Titans, 7.5.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some weird ones in there. Yeah, it's interesting, too, with Baltimore. Almost the entire offseason, I think there was at least a really good chance Lamar Jackson and Baltimore were ending, right?
Yes.
So I assume a lot of that fan base was kind of embracing, okay, you know what, time for a fresh start and just, and whatever, back to a traditional offense, whatever it may be. And now it's like, no, actually, here it is. I assume most Ravens fans are happy with that, right? I mean,
I would assume.
I assume so, but it's a weird situation because it looked so tenuous for so long.
Yeah.
Well, it's really interesting.
Now you've got the new offensive coordinator. It was interesting. We've talked with TD about this before, and we've heard from players around the league. And I think RG3 brought this up on either ESPN or on Twitter one time about Greg Roman and the offensive system that they ran in Baltimore and how receivers just hated it. Well, Todd Monken is coming in from Georgia. How big of a difference is that going to make? Number one, can Odell Beckham be healthy and be on near the same type of guy that he was when we last saw him with the Rams? And number two, you did just draft Zay Flowers in the first round. How quickly can he come in and be impactful? But beyond that, like Rashad Bateman, who you drafted in the first round a couple years ago, can he stay healthy and can he be the player that you drafted to be? If all those things work out, then they might be pretty good on the offensive side of the ball. If they don't, then it might not go as swimmingly as some think it will for Baltimore.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, they really knew. I mean, you don't think of this stuff too much in pro sports. You think of recruiting in college sports, but they actually do need to not be known as the graveyard for receivers. Where people don't want to go. And I think some of it is just they haven't had good receivers, and also Lamar Jackson loves Mark Andrews so much he'd rather throw to him than any receiver in the league.
Yes.
But. They need more production from that position. If you get it, think about how good you could be if everything else is operating like it can.
Hey, maybe wide receivers view this place the same.
Well,
I would think there's absolutely something to that. Just the style of offense and yeah,
I think that could definitely be a possibility. But I was thinking about those two teams specifically yesterday. But as you said, Joe, it kind of fits into the larger context and relates it back to the Titans and their path to the playoffs. And we've talked about the Jags, and they're going to be the overwhelming favorite heading into the season in the AFC South. I think the Jags have a chance to be pretty good. They also have a number one schedule, so we'll see. But is it as simple as the Titans have to be better than the Jags, or they're not getting in the playoffs, or could there actually be a wild card path for this Titans team this year based on the rest of the AFC? We'll get into all that coming up next. Take your thoughts as well. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode, 1025-1063, The Game.
The postseason is here. Whether it's the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs or the NBA, we have you covered on Nashville's best sports talk, 1025 and 1063, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Family Leisure invites you to vacation at home with your family with a new spa, pool, patio furniture, or wood play gym this summer.
I really want a spa.
Family Leisure has 40 spas on display from 3 of the biggest brand names: Artesian, Best Spas, and American Select. Prices starting as low as $29.99.
What about above ground pools?
Family Leisure has hundreds of pools in stock and on sale. Guaranteed installation before Memorial Day, starting as low as $29.99. Installed.
Wow, that's great.
If you're looking at a spa, I want some new patio furniture. Family Leisure has patio furniture from all the big brand names like Hanneman, Woodard, Jensen, and Apricity. There's more than 100 sets on display to choose from with free delivery.
That sounds good to me too. And maybe a new Sabre infrared grill to go with it.
We really should look at the wood play gym for the kids. Family Leisure has the Diamond Point swing set on sale at only $24.99 installed. It's Family Leisure's vacation at home sale going on now at both huge locations, Franklin and Antioch.
Family and fun come together. Gear up for spring at Coleman Tractor Company with Kubota zero turns and subcompact tractors in stock now and ready to work. Mow, dig, haul, and lift with the Kubota BX23S tractor loader backhoe. Now through June 30th, save up to $2,500 on BX23S models. Visit Coleman Tractor in Paris, Clarksville, Nashville, and White House today. Now through June 30th. See KubotaUSA.com for more information.
At the law office of Amanda J. Gentry, we are committed to defending your rights. We have a team committed to helping you navigate the court system, whether you've been accused of a crime or you're going through a messy divorce and custody. Call our team to help you navigate this system. We are here to protect your rights, to demand your rights, to enforce your rights. 615-604-6263. 615-604-6263. AmandaJGentry.com.
When looking for quality adult recreational sports in Nashville, look no further than Midstate Sports. With over 25,000 participants, they are one of the largest sports organizations in the Southeast. Summer registration is now open for adult sports like softball, sand volleyball, soccer, flag football, kickball, and basketball. For a full list of adult sports offerings, check out midstatesports.com. It's no debate. Play Midstate.
Want to enter the construction field as a career? Make good money and finish with no debt and earn while you learn. Average starting salary over $18 an hour. First year of college averages $10,000. 4 years of our Construction Trades Academy, a total of $800 to $9,600. Applications are open with first-year scholarships available. CTANash.com. ABC Greater Tennessee Construction Trades Academy. Apply today. CTANash.com.
Want to weigh in on the conversation? It's a brain booster. Slide into our DMs. Or just text or call at 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Good morning. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty.
I had the radio on. I'm listening to
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley alongside Joe Rexrode, Michelle Kanazovic here with you on this Thursday morning. Streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio. Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Taking your thoughts on the Titans, 615-737-1025. So we've talked about Baltimore and the Jets, Joe. Those are just two teams that the Titans and everybody else in the AFC are going to have to worry about when it comes to playoff positioning. And, look, we know the easiest path to the playoffs for the Titans is win your division. That's every team's goal at the beginning of the year every year is to win the division, get a home playoff game, and then go from there. And, you know, the Chiefs have done a pretty good job at that. Bengals done a pretty good job at that in recent years, and that's going to be the goal for the Titans. But is there another path to the Titans? Like, is it as simple if the Titans are going to get in the playoffs, they're going to have to win the AFC South based on the rest of the AFC and how many loaded teams there are? Or could there be a path to the playoffs for the Titans as a wild card based on the roster that they have, but also based on the schedule that they have heading into this year? Last year, there was no path to a wild card. It was somebody's going to have to win the AFC South. It's going to be the Titans or the Jags, and they have no chance to be the wild card. It's just going to be the division winner. It's not the same every year, obviously. Things change divisionally. There was a time where if we were going by straight-up record, nobody from the NFC East would ever made the playoffs based on how sorry that division was, and that has turned around quite a bit as well. So how do you view the wild card picture, the playoff race, all those things on paper as we look into the schedule and the AFC teams and what we think these teams are on paper?
Well, I think both are possible. Both paths are possible. And I think although there's now a lot of it's way better on the AFC side than the NFC side, that also means parity. That means a lot of teams beating each other. I think it's absolutely possible that like a 9-8 team can slip into the 7 seed next season. I think there's enough beating of each other in this conference possible. You know, I think it's worse when you have clear, much better teams, and it's like, okay, these 5 teams are in for sure. Right? It's not necessarily that. It's a lot of good teams and a lot of teams on paper that look better than the Titans, but I think a 9-8, 7 seed maybe even flirting with 8 and 9 is possible. Also, here's something I haven't done. I mean, I'm not ruling out. I mean, it'd be great, right, if the finale here on either January 6th or 7th is for the division. I mean, the NFL at least set it up for that to be a possibility. So let's just go through this. I got the Titans going 9 and 8. So let's just go through the Jags. At the Colts, win. Chiefs at home. Chiefs will get them back. Texans win. Falcons win. Let's say the Bills get them back. There's 3 and 2. They beat the Colts 4 and 2. They beat the Saints 5 and 2. At the Steelers, the mighty Steelers. Okay, 5 and 3. Niners. I'll give them 6 and 3. They're going to split those. Beat the Titans at home 7 and 3. At the Texans 8 and 3. Bengals 8 and 4. At the Browns.
Depends on what version of Sean Watson's there. I have no idea.
And then the Ravens. Let's split those. 9 and 5. At the Bucks, 10 and 5. Panthers at home, 11 and 5. And then you get the Titans here. It's gonna be tough. Now again, I went through that, and at least 5 of the games that I said will absolutely go the other way from what I said. But you look at that, and it's like they have the first place schedule, so that includes, of course, the Chiefs. It includes the Bengals. The thing is, it is like, and this is the AFC South gets the NFC South, and it's just sweet.
Yeah,
and I'm sure the NFC South says the same thing. Woohoo! Get the AFC South this year. Come on.
That's why the Panthers have like 9 wins. Or their under-over is like 8.5.
Right. I mean, exactly. Like for everybody in both divisions, it's like, wow, your schedule doesn't look so bad.
Yeah.
So, but look, what I just went through. I guess basically I just predicted the Jags could go 11 and 6, the Titans go 9 and 8. But is it like impossible? No, of course not. Is it impossible for the Titans to go into their place and win the first time they play? Which, by the way, is too late in the season.
Yep.
No, it's not impossible. I think both paths are possible. I really do think the wild card path is probably their best bet, but I don't rule it out.
Well, and to your point, I mean the AFC East is loaded. We know about the AFC West, and last year heading into the season, it was the best division in the history of football on paper, and it did not come close to playing out that way. So there are going to be narratives that we have now in May that we think are going to play out that are not going to play out. Like, I'm with you. I think the Jets are going to be pretty good. If Rodgers is healthy, I think they got a chance to be pretty good. They may be terrible. I mean, Sean Payton may come in and Russell Wilson may get unlocked, and the Broncos may be every bit as good this year as people thought they might be last year. Like, I have no idea how it's going to play out, but it does look like there are enough teams, as I sit here today on May 18th, that look like they're significantly better than the Titans on paper, that it does make me wonder, like, how realistic is a wild card spot? Like, is it just going to be as simple as you have to win the division? Now, again, the Titans, to your point, they do have the NFC South, and that should be something that they could take advantage of. Like, I don't know. I've gone through the schedule. I'm about where you are. I'd probably lean 8 and 9 rather than 9 and 8. But there's so many games that could go either way with these guys just because of, the style of play the Titans are going to have to play. The toss-up games on this schedule, I think there's a lot of them. And I like Vrabel in those situations. I like the Titans and the experience that some of these guys have in those situations. But the margin for error with this group right now, to me, is not very high. And I'm just really interested to see how they play that out. We've made so much, Joe, really even before the 7-game losing streak last year, of how good the Titans have been over the last 3 seasons in one-score games. I mean, the record before the 7-game losing streak was phenomenal in one-score games. And can you get back to that? Because I think that's going to be how you have to win. I can't see the Titans right now, based on the roster they have offensively, really doing a whole lot of blowing people out.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either. But if you want to look at the Titans, so Saints, Chargers, Browns, Bengals, as we've talked about, very tough start. If you can manage 2 and 2 there, okay? You can manage 2 and 2 there, and you can manage just sweeping the Colts and Texans, which is absolutely on the table.
It is.
Okay. Well, there's 6, okay? I've got you with 6 wins. Let's say you split with the Jags. There's 7. Okay. Now, again, the Jags game at the end, does it matter? Does it not? I don't know. If it does at home, sure you have a chance. Okay. So now that's 7, and you have the Ravens in London, the Falcons at home, Steelers on the road, Bucks on the road, Panthers at home.
Yep.
Dolphins on the road, but Seahawks at home. I can find 3-4 more wins in there.
For sure. Yeah.
We're talking ourselves into,
11-6.
Big things here.
Be careful with saying they might win Thursday Night Football. You be careful by saying that.
Yeah.
Oh, the one at Pittsburgh? Well, that one you can pretty much count as an L, of course. Because, it's the steel curtain part.
Because if they won, that would be bizarre. That would be bizarre that anyone would think that.
I will say, they typically don't play overly well in Pittsburgh.
That is true.
That's also traditionally been with Ben Roethlisberger on the other side. So
last time, I remember last time in Pittsburgh, and Antonio Brown went nuts on them. Remember that game? Like one-handed TD
I remember the last time they were in Pittsburgh was the time that
it's 2 years
they kept fumbling the ball, and like Westbrook and Keeney caught the ball like a yard short of the sticks on 4th down. We're like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And Ben Roethlisberger was barely. I think it was his last season.
That was a bad loss.
It
was the number 1 seed season.
Yeah. But the one you were talking about before that was, I think, also on Thursday Night Football, and I thought Antonio Brown was going to have 500 yards in that game.
Yeah, and in that, after that game, Jason Wolf, our beat writer at the Tennessee at the time, gave coaching an F, and then Mike Mularkey wouldn't answer his questions at the next press conference. It was awesome.
It's kind of a power move by Mularkey.
Good times.
I do. Vrabel, I think, is clearly a much better coach than Mularkey, but I do kind of miss him sometimes. Hey, so-and-so's, he's got a broken foot. He's going to be out 3 days. He'll be back after that. We're giving him some steroid shots.
And Mularkey's anger at Kaharski was actually more enjoyable, too, than Vrabel's. I mean, sometimes Vrabel's is fun, but Mularkey would really get mad at him.
Yeah. It's good stuff. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll take more of your thoughts on the Titans. We'll also get into a big plan that the Tennessee Athletic Department has around Neyland Stadium and in their athletic complex as well. We'll get into all that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
The offseason is in full swing, but there's no slowing down ESPN's Teron Davenport.
The flow of information.
He talks the talk.
Spears gives you that guy that can still hit the home run.
And walks the walk.
As a run blocker, he's going to murder a linebacker at the second level.
On everything Titans, TD is on Mondays at 1, Thursdays at 3, Friday mornings at 8, and anytime on the Talkin' with TD podcast. TD is on 102.5 and 106.3, The Game, and The Game Nashville app.
20 years ago, when Genesis Diamonds came to Nashville, this was one of the most expensive cities in America for diamond jewelry. Our radical approach and no middleman pricing changed that forever. And now we're doing it again, this time with lab-grown diamonds. We were shocked to find out what the other mall stores and the other big radio advertisers were charging. They sell their platinum 4-carat VS2 lab-grown earrings for $15,720. We sell them for $6,900. Their 3.08 carat lab-grown round diamond with G-Color VS2 clarity is $10,045. We sell it for $5,900. Looks like they might be going back to the old ways. If they're charging this much on lab-grown diamonds, kind of makes you wonder what else they're selling at the same outrageous markup. Nashville, we are not going backwards. At Genesis Diamonds, our non-commissioned trusted advisors are here to give you all the information with details you can trust and prices you can count on. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Hey, are you seeking relief? Maybe you just want to enhance your day or night. Did you know there are legal THC products available right here in Tennessee? Yeah, really. You can have legal THC products shipped directly to the comfort of your home. Yes, Comfort and Cannabis is only a website away. Visit greentreescompany.com. That's Green Trees with a Z, and change your life today.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
Honey, what's an 8-letter word for difficult to explain?
When we planned on retiring, we never planned on Medicare being so confusing.
What's a 6-letter word for special skills or knowledge?
Fortunately, Farm Bureau Health Plans is an expert on all things Medicare. With 75 years of helping Tennesseans, they helped us understand our Medicare options.
Why are these things so complicated?
Talk to your local representative or visit fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go, so I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partner with Beacon. With the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. It's like having my Beacon rep in my pocket 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through June, purchase through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Beacon, always building.
He's got big takes.
It's not that freaking hard. Hand the ball to Henry.
Small takes.
You have to defend your decision.
But all takes.
They win, they lose. Just invested a lot into this game. I thought it was the worst press conference.
He is Jared Stillman.
I guess I'm just not a very good coach, Jared.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
This is Greg McElroy, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Team today to see why they're referred to so often. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning. Indy Ben, not buying the Titans sweep of the Colts.
I love Indy Ben. I love Indy. Indy Ben gets so mad. It's great. He says, I don't understand this notion locally that the Titans will just easily sweep the Colts. Let me interject. No one's saying they're easily. I just said, is it possible?
It's very possible.
Is it possible the Colts sweep the Titans? Yes. Okay, back to Indy Ben. Indy has just as much, if not more, talent with a better coaching staff than they previously had under Reich. Reich never had his team prepared. I need to go back on the Indy Ben history.
You have a first-year head coach.
Well,
that's what I asked. Like, how do you know they're better coaching staff? Because Jim Irsay says they are? Shane Steichen! I mean, look.
They also are about to start a rookie quarterback who probably has no business playing in the NFL this year.
Or Gardner Minshew.
Yes.
So that's the rub for me, Indy Ben. I mean, they may have a little bit more talented roster, but it's not dramatically more talented if it is. And the quarterback situation is actually much better with the Titans this year, I think. Hey, man, I'm here for Anthony Richardson blowing up as a rookie.
I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch it too. But I need to also go back on Indy Ben's history and find some
it's glorious.
Glowing Frank Reich assessments. Come on, Indy Ben. I still love you, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep on texting in, Indy Ben. You're part of what makes the show fun here on the program. Ron on the text line says, I'm feeling optimistic about this year. When you really think about it, the Titans still need a tackle or two and a wide receiver or two, but at the same time, I feel we'll be better than people think. No downing, hopefully better play calling, and no predictable play calling. That's a plus on its own. So I feel we're going 10-7 or 11-6. This is from Ron on the text line.
Woo, Ron, that's hot take.
Well, you played. We had Jared. We had a little snippet there from Jared in one of the breaks.
Yep.
And it speaks exactly to this is something I would caution, but I know this is exactly how it goes because I think of this, Ron, because you said no downing. You know it's going to be like if it was all Todd Downing and you take him out of the equation and everything's going to be great.
I can't wait till like the first drive against New Orleans this year when the Titans, they go 6 plays, 75 yards, touchdown, and the fan base can be like, thank God they got Todd Downing out. This is going to be the best offense in the league.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if Downing wasn't here, Dennis Daly would have been like a Pro Bowl left tackle, man. You know, you so badly want whoever was gone, whoever who got bounced or whatever to be all of the problem.
Yep.
But look, someone else asked again is like about injuries, and of course, I just said back to whoever that was. Yeah, look, if they have a normal injury year last year, if they just don't lose Tannehill for a few games, like they win the division with ease, and they're on a streak. They're going for a 4th straight division title.
Yep,
but that's not reality.
That is not reality. Joe, some interesting news yesterday coming out of Knoxville. Tennessee announced yesterday that Danny White is initiating the exploration, was the term they used, of a public-private partnership aimed at the development of a first in-class entertainment district spanning the Tennessee River waterfront near historic Neyland Stadium. They're at the moment calling this the Neyland Entertainment District. So right down there by Neyland Stadium, kind of the pathway, if you've ever been down there from Neyland over to Thompson Bowling Arena, a projected and entertainment district could be a part of the future plans down there to have retail coming in there and hotel spaces coming in there, and I would assume restaurants and bars and all that stuff coming in there too. What do you make of this idea that has been proposed by Tennessee and Danny White, trying to get some new things down by the district over there in Neyland, and what do you think this could do for the game day experience at Neyland Stadium if this comes into effect?
Yeah, I don't hate it. You know, someone pointed out in response to this yesterday, the G10 parking garages, and that's a great tailgate. I've tailgated there.
Yep.
It's that's also like parking for Thompson Bowling, like media parking for, but it's a big ramp, and it's all kinds of tailgating in it, and then outside it, and then along like the grass next to it, you know, that's like right on, basically across the road from the riverbank. And Danny White actually responded to that tweet, said, yes, agree, not messing with that. Basically, this is a tabletop. So it's interesting. So it's like the up on top of the garage is what this would be.
Yep.
So I hope the garage is sturdy. That's one thing. Let's make sure that's the case. But yeah, it's someone also compared it to like the LA Live, for anybody who's familiar with that in LA, what they've kind of done around, you know, Lakers games, Clippers games too. Some people go to those, not many, but the idea of just, you know, this entertainment you see a lot of this in pro sports.
Yep.
I mean, when the Titans, when they get their new stadium here, there's going to be some new stuff over there. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think that you know, you've got your tailgating scene and very good tailgating on that campus. But I think you would probably do very well. And you got a hotel also basically connected to the stadium now. I'm all for more hotel rooms in that town.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's another creative idea from Danny White to try to modernize things, have more revenue, you know, all the things. I mean, he's a forward-thinking AD who is, at his core, he's a guy who finds new streams of revenue.
He does, and this is, you know, obviously an innovative idea from that standpoint. You brought up something that's interesting there. Like, you know, obviously I've been to Neyland several times going to watch games, but one of the things that I would love to see down there a little bit more parking would be great down there. It'd be awesome. There are times, especially if it's a big game, where if you don't get there very early, it is very difficult to find parking down there.
Yeah, and even, it's difficult to find parking, and it's also like just the traffic too is like it's hours before a game. You better be locked in, or you're just going to be in gridlock. So, but Andrew says, will you hate the entertainment district when your laptop is stolen? Boo Vols. Hopefully it's well lit.
Maybe some better security at the entertainment district down there.
Let's have some good lighting in whatever parking lots you may have there. But I mean, I like it, and it's another thing in this press release that, I mean, I love this because like you find little things, you know, to kind of pump things up.
Yep.
And look, I'm just reading the press release. It says that in the first half of 2022, Knoxville was one of the nation's top 5 booking markets. I assume that means like booking concerts.
I guess.
You know, the top 4 were Atlanta, Nashville, New York, and Washington, D.C., and then Knoxville.
It's very random.
I mean, it is, but at least it's not like in the first like 7 weeks of 2019. You know, I mean, it's a. But
those obscure stats are just incredible.
But I'd say for a half a year,
that's pretty good.
That seems pretty good. Also, the point made, it is a micro market gathering center area. The Strip, the Old City Market Square, Beard, and Turkey Creek. There are a lot of cool little spots in Knoxville. So here's another one that will potentially happen.
Well, and really, like the larger picture here is, you know, Danny White kind of leading the charge on this. Tennessee athletics continues to be in a pretty good spot. I mean, we've talked about on the field in football and baseball and, you know, on the court in basketball with kind of the programs all being in a pretty good spot, collectively being in the best spot that they've been in a very long time over there. But, I think it's becoming pretty clear that the hiring of Danny White as athletic director is a pretty darn good hire by Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the initial reaction, which is, wow, they got Danny White, was correct, even though then the next reaction was, wow, Danny White hired Josh Heupel?
Josh Heupel? Oh, boy.
Danny White? Are you sure, Danny?
We
Danny?
remember your guys' reactions.
Oh, yeah, Danny White.
That was an all-timer on the show here today.
Great takes.
Yep.
But we were not WHMR that day.
We were not WHMR that day. It was like, oh, good. They hired the guy from UCF who just progressively got worse down there. I don't really recall a whole lot of Vols fans being excited about that one either.
Oh, a lot of people.
We didn't get a ton of pushback, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of people say they were now.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, they were callers. We have the audio.
Yeah.
People were real mad.
I want to find. Yeah, this is one of those. I want to go back and see the tweets. How many people were like, "Yes, Heupel, all right."
But hey, Joe Milton slinging that thing around. You keep winning. Be a lot of people enjoying that entertainment district down there in Knoxville.
Well, it's a good thing that it didn't time out with Milton still at quarterback. And you blast one of those with a football.
Helmets. Yeah. Oh, man. 615-737-1025. Our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on the new proposed entertainment district down there in Knoxville. Take your thoughts on the Titans as well. We're going to get back into the Titans coming up at 7 o'clock. Coming up next, it is time for the best and worst things in sports. We'll take your submissions on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Speaking of the text line, 102.5-106.3 The Game has your chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Dave Matthews Band at Bridgestone Arena on Friday, May 26th, courtesy of Green Trees Company Dispensary, providing high-quality legal THC products. Just text in the keyword TREES, that's TREEZ, trees with a Z instead of an S, now to the Game text line at 615-737-1025 for your chance to be entered to win. We'll have the best and worst things in sports coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexrode.
Yeah, you take that. You take that. Take me 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman and Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Do you ever feel like gambling is causing financial strain or hurting your relationships? The Gambling Clinic has been helping people who want to change their gambling habits for over 2 decades. With physical clinics and remote online appointments, we're here to help you make informed decisions about your gambling so it doesn't lead to a bigger problem. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com so we can work together to help you win your life back. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Now through Memorial Day, get fantastic deals at Electronic Express. Get a Hisense 65-inch 4K TV for just $349, or an Amanda laundry pair for $399 each. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department: computers, appliances, 4K TVs, smart home, furniture and mattresses, and more. Don't miss out on a Vio laptop for just $499, or Nintendo Switch bundles as low as $429. Shop in-store or online with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Nashville's best deal of the week is Bavarian Beer House at Opry Mills. Bavarian Beer House, Nashville's only authentic German beer hall, is full of fun, food, music, and most importantly, beer. Enjoy traditional German bratwurst, schnitzel, giant pretzels, and more in an Oktoberfest-inspired space. Visit BeerHouseNashville.com for their live music schedule. Get a $50 gift card for half off right now at TheGameNashville.com/deals while supplies last.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's gonna fit. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Tonight, LeBron and my Lakers battle the Nuggets in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals.
They have to play better, they have to rebound better.
Our coverage on 94.9 The Fan begins after Sounds Baseball. Your home for the NBA playoffs.
It's 94.9 The Fan and the Fan app.
You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
Every morning, first thing.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. The best and worst of the sports week now on Robby and Rexrode
On ESPN.
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And it is that time of the week, time for the best and worst things in sports. Here for this week on Robby and Rexrode. As always, we will take your submissions, encourage your submissions on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, kick us off with your best and worst things in the world of sports.
Well, you know how I like to bring basketball into this category, or any category. I like to infiltrate with basketball.
I do.
So, best, I'm going to share best. Two NBA players who are just thrilling me right now, and I actually hope meet in the NBA Finals. They are your own Jimmy Butler,
correct,
and Nikola Jokic, who is absolutely absurd, and yeah, probably the best player in the NBA right now. But Jimmy Butler and what he's doing with that team and what that team is doing collectively, it's fantastic. Watching both of them play, yes, Miami last night, we're fresh off that win, but also Denver just absolutely just wiping the Suns off. Get out of here, man. The mighty Suns, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. By the way, Michelle, Devin Booker, not only does he not talk in the presser after the loss, he doesn't show up to talk at the freaking end-of-year presser. How soft are Kentucky players? I don't know why I'm attacking you right now. But that's so disappointing.
I didn't see that.
That is weak AF. But anyway, sorry. And that's not my worst. But Jokic, Butler, my best. My worst, I'm sorry, this is where I really appreciate you guys letting me go first. It's Ja Morant. And it's to me, it's someone who's self-destructive. That's really the story. What he did is a symptom of being self-destructive. You had an opportunity to learn from something, and you completely didn't, and you are sabotaging yourself mightily. But also, I will add to this is like some of the discussion around this, like some of the text lines like, "What about his Second Amendment rights?" Like, John, grab your musket. The British are coming. Like, what are we talking about? No one said he can't have a gun, but what he's doing is way out of bounds, and it's sad to see, and I hope he figures it out real fast.
Yep, absolutely. Michelle Knezovic, your best and worst things in the world of sports.
Okay, well, I think Joe hit on the one of the biggest worsts. So I'm going to do two bests this week because I had a worst and then I also forgot it. But my first best this week, I saw this on LinkedIn. The Tennessee Titans hosted 25 undergrad and graduate students from Tennessee State University, and this was their first ever professional sports course. And Burke Nihill and a bunch of other people in the Tennessee Titans organization, front office people, just a bunch of different people in different parts of the business side of things, corporate partnerships, finance, sports law, and they talked to these students and they gave them a course. I just think that that's so great. Professional sports teams, getting colleges involved, showing younger students that, you can work in sports. Here's how you do it. I would have loved to go to something like this in college. So I think it's just great of what the Titans have set up for students. So that's my best in sports and other best because I'm in a positive mood today. There's a video of Shaquille O'Neal out right now. He was on a podcast or something. And we all love Shaq on this show. He's great. Apparently, he's been going around lately into Best Buys. He's like, I was just in a Best Buy the other day and kind of looking for people. And essentially, he said he was looking for moms, and he found this mom who was trying to buy laptops for her kids to go to college. And Shaq just went over there, and he does what Shaq does, and he paid for her kids' laptops. And for him, he's like, a couple $1,000 is nothing for me. So I wanted to help him out. And he's like, I've been doing that in a couple Best Buys. I just try to find the moms in there. So shout out Shaq. Just such a good dude. I love hearing stories like that. So 2 best this week because I'm in a positive mood.
There you go.
No worse. Okay.
No. I found an apartment, so we're all happy.
Oh, nice.
There we go. All right, my best thing very quickly is Jimmy Butler. He has been unbelievable in the playoffs so far. There's the Milwaukee series where he was basically scoring 50 points a game. There was the New York series where he was defensively a monster. And then last night he was doing everything. I mean, the guy is playing at an incredible level right now. So Jimmy Butler, my best thing in sports. Very quick honorable mention, worst thing that's really not that serious, but I saw it a minute ago flash up on ESPN. The PGA Championship begins today. They are currently in a frost delay. It's a frost delay.
Ooh.
On May the 18th. They had Michael Collins up there on TV a few minutes ago, their ESPN golf reporter, and he looked like he was reporting live from Hoth in Star Wars. I mean, it was just all these winter clothing on. I was like, it's May the 18th. How are we in a frost delay in the PGA Championship? So shout out to Pittsford, New York up there.
Jeez.
Frost delay for the PGA Championship. But in all seriousness, my worst thing in sports, the Edmonton Oilers. A big blown opportunity, in my opinion, from the Edmonton Oilers. Look, I'm not taking anything away from Vegas. Vegas was the best team in the Western Conference this year by the standings. They're very good. They have good defensemen. They have very good forwards. I think Bruce Cassidy's a very good coach. So Vegas is deserving to be there. But when you see Colorado go down and you see McDavid and Draisaitl in that team close out the season 18-2-1, like the opportunity was there for them to win. And look, I still believe that eventually Edmonton is probably going to break through and they're going to win one. But when you start to talk about like the history of the game, Connor McDavid, when everything is said and done, is going to be discussed as one of 3 or 4 of the greatest players to ever play the game. But you also, to really hold weight in that discussion, you need to win.
Yeah, all those other guys are all over that cup.
Right, and I think that this was a huge missed opportunity for the Edmonton Oilers in that regard. They're bringing basically the same team back next year, and a lot of those guys are another year older, more experienced, and if it's possible, like McDavid might get better. He's only 26, so we'll see what happens on that front. But I think this was a big missed opportunity for the Edmonton Oilers this year.
Poor Sportsnet. How long are they going to pay for the Canadians making it to the Stanley Cup final? Years and years.
It's been 30 years since that team won.
One quick best because it happened a week ago, so it was so long ago. But
Okay.
I think we have to throw in, the Titans social media team.
Oh, man.
I know we've talked about it, but it got a lot of love. I know The Athletic ranked the team's schedule videos, and the Titans came in number 1. The Broadway interview, for picking the different teams that they play on the schedule. Yeah, that was quite great.
William from Madison brings up a worse that is a good one to bring up that we've not talked about. Says, I just have a worse. Kumar Rocker blowing out his elbow. Sad. This from William from Madison.
Yeah, apparently he's going to have Tommy John. Yeah. Terrible news. And I think things were going well for him in that organization. So, that's rough.
It is rough. Austin from Clarksville saying, Wemby to the Spurs is the worst. No, wait, is he saying that's the best?
Best is
the
Wemby
worst
to the
is the
Spurs.
Yankees pitcher having the stickiest fingers, the ump. A lot of controversy with the Yankees.
The Yankees are cheating all over the place.
Got Aaron Judge apparently looking around, according to the Blue Jays broadcast team. And then he smashed about a 900-foot home run after that, too. Controversy around the Yankees.
I got to admit, Liam, when Michelle was talking about Shaq looking for moms, I have to say, Liam, Bill Murray had a pretty great charity for single moms and Kingpin, too. Have you seen Kingpin, Michelle?
Are you even going to ask me?
Well, randomly, you've seen some 90s stuff. What was the name of that charity? That Bill Murray charity?
I don't remember.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Sir, we don't mean
Shaq's intentions were more pure.
I know that Shaq had pure intentions, but I must say, I didn't think of Bill Murray.
We gotta go there.
I know.
We didn't. Liam did on the text line.
Exactly. I blame Liam.
By the way, Lance on the text line says, Luis Aguilar, USFL kicker, goes 8 for 8 last weekend. Made field goals of 22, 42, 56, 36, 27, 51, 49, and 55, and a game winner. And then in all capital letters, sign that boy now, Titans.
I mean,
Titans could use a kicker, right?
Man, a 56, a 51, a 49, and a game winner from 55? Jeez. It's not the worst idea.
Who's kicking for them? Is it Shudak?
I guess. And then someone else in the rotation of kind of the journeyman kicker who bounce around will probably be back in there to compete with him.
I don't think it's going to be Randy. I think they're moving on from Randy.
I think you need to have a little more leg.
Yes.
More leg as in, like, distance on your leg, not more actual physical leg.
He does actually have an adequate amount of leg, I would assume. Although Jared does refer to him as mini leg on his program, which I will admit I think is pretty funny.
Mini leg?
Mini leg.
Nice.
It's pretty good. It's been the best and worst things in sports. You can check it out every Thursday morning at 6:45 here on the program. We'll continue to take your thoughts on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll get back into the Tennessee Titans and continue to take your thoughts on the Will Levis selection. How much better do you feel about Will Levis now that we've had some distance from the draft? Do you feel any better about the Will Levis pick? 615-737-1025. We'll get into all that coming up next. Make sure you join 102.5-106.3 The Game tomorrow for the grand opening of the new Dunkin' in Spring Hill, located at 2098 Wall Street. Stop by and grab some coffee and register for giveaways from 7 to 9 a.m. Looking forward to that. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
Every day we are live and local.
Are you going to pay $20.2 million for someone who's struggling this much to stay healthy?
And your source for Nashville sports.
The players got to play better, and they're the ones actually out on the court, and they got to execute.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been serving golfers since 1968. Let us help you find the hottest gear from bags, balls, shoes, and apparel. All in stock at the best prices. Come in and test drive the latest arrivals from Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping, and more. While you're there, get custom fit by one of our golf experts. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at EdwinWattsGolfShops.com.
For more than a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. In their car, at home, or on the job, more than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. AM radio is also the backbone of the emergency alert system, which keeps us safe in dangerous times. It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Get ready for the power of Godsmack on their new world tour. With special guest, I Prevail. May 23rd, First Bank Amphitheater. Featuring songs from their new album, Lighting Up the Sky. On sale now. Buy tickets at LiveNation.com. Part of the Farm Bureau Insurance Concert Series. Buy tickets at LiveNation.com.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention veterans, active duty military, civilians, and contractors. If you were issued earplugs between 1999 and 2015 and were diagnosed with hearing loss or ringing in the ears, you may be entitled to compensation. The manufacturer of these military earplugs recently paid $9.1 million to resolve claims that their earplugs were defective, potentially exposing service members to damaging sound levels that could have resulted in hearing loss or tinnitus. If you or a loved one were issued earplugs and were diagnosed with tinnitus or hearing loss, don't wait. You fought for this country, and our attorneys want to fight for you. Call 800-725-0565 now for a free legal consultation and to see if you may be eligible to file a claim. Time restrictions may apply, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. So call 800-725-0565 now. Again, 800-725-0565. That's 800-725-0565.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-241-5944. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-241-5944 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-241-5944 to see if you qualify. That's 800-241-5944.
Your Game Center update.
I'm Michelle Knezovic. The Miami Heat with a huge road win in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final, 123-116 over Boston. And it was Jimmy Butler who led the Heat, 35 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 steals. The Milwaukee Admirals take another win in their series against Texas. They're up 2-1, and now they'll head to Texas to finish out the series. The Tennessee Volunteers are in the early stages of exploring building an entertainment district on the campus that will connect Neyland Stadium to Thompson Bowling Arena. Jason Fitz weighed in on where he thinks the Titans sit in the NFL.
I think what most people believe is that the team will be handed over to Will Levis, and then we'll go full incomplete, like, hey, we're in rebuild mode. So, we're going to try out young talent, see what happens. I feel like that's the overall tone around the Titans for a lot of people. I just don't see why that would make any sense for the organization. I mean, they are in a situation where, frankly, I think they have the ability to see what they have in some guys while they're also still competitive, and they're in a trash division.
Game 2 tonight for the Lakers and Nuggets. Tip-off is set for 7:30. And the NHL is back in action tonight. The Panthers and the Canes in Game 1. I'm Michelle Knezovic for 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa.
I appreciate that.
And other smart speakers. 1025 and 1063.
1, 2, 3. I think it was a good game. Had a couple of big plays.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk. 1025 and 1063 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning. Taking your thoughts, 615-737-1025 on our phone and text lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We'll have Charles Robinson coming up at 8 o'clock for his weekly visit. Looking forward to getting into all things NFL from 8 to 8:30 with Charles Robinson of Yahoo Sports. Looking forward to that. We have made some Vanderbilt fans mad with our discussion of the Tennessee entertainment district opening up or planning to be opened up in Knoxville. That is the plan for Danny White. Southern Boy Sports Vanderbilt on Twitter says, did you guys have this publicity for Vanderbilt when they announced the Olympic-style village, which will be the first of its kind in college athletics? I'm guessing not. Come on, guys. Equal airtime here.
Okay. Well, there's some.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, we talked about the Tennessee plan for 4 minutes. It's going to be okay.
Yes. All right, so are you timing us? Are you timing? Does this still count? So the Southern Boy Sports Vanderbilt, are you timing us? So
you know how many times we've talked about the stuff going on around Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
A lot.
So, by the way, there is April 6th, the gift from the Frist family.
Yes.
Frist Athletics Village, which will encompass First Bank Stadium, Memorial Gym, Hawkins Family Tennis Center, the McGugan Center, Ingram Center, there's not a lot of other. There's obviously a little bit of a difference here. Great gift from the Friss, but this is a public-private, huge strip of restaurants and bars. And
WHMR.
Yes, there you go.
The Homer.
That's awesome. But apparently we're not Homer enough for Vanderbilt.
Apparently not. Nobody's.
How many minutes is that?
Yeah, we're keeping track. Counting down
right.
the time. 615-737-1025.
Sensitivity among in-state college rivals is amazing.
Never gets old. 615-737-1025, our phone number. 615-737-1025. So, Joe, a temperature check of the Titans fan base on Will Levis. Obviously, we've talked a lot about Will Levis in the aftermath of him being drafted. We had Paul Kuharsky on yesterday from paulkuharsky.com talking about rookie minicamp, and he's throwing around against air and T-shirts and shorts. Maybe not freak out too much about what Will Levis is doing in rookie minicamp, which I agree with. But I do wonder, based on the fact that he is now going to be the quarterback for the Tennessee Titans at some point, even if you were, let's say, a Tennessee fan or maybe just somebody in general that did not love the pick of Will Levis at the time, has your viewpoint on the Levis pick changed at all over the course of the past few weeks in the aftermath of the NFL draft?
I want to know if Ryan Porth feels any differently.
Man. I was not aware of this tweet until you put it over here.
He was right. I mean, it was like right when they picked him too, I think, right?
So
looks like it.
We did on Chase and Michelle, we had people call in and give their pick, and Porth was somebody who called in, and I said, Porth, you don't want my Kentucky quarterback, joking with him, and he was visibly angry. Absolutely not. And this is before the draft even happened. So when they picked, I was like, oh gosh, I need to look at his Twitter.
And he's not a Vols fan.
He's not.
I usually expect the super anger about Levis to be tied to Vols fandom.
Yeah. Well, Porth's tweet on April the 28th, 2023 at 6:37 p.m. Quote, Will Levis will not be the Titans starting quarterback when they open their new stadium in 2027. Book it. End quote from Ryan Porth.
He also he had another tweet, and it was like a picture of Levis doing like the one of I don't know if it was the mayonnaise or whatever, the banana peel, but it was just like, why? Man, just pure hatred from Ryan Porth. Interesting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, and yes, I do wonder how do people feel now? First of all, of course, people are going to talk themselves into whoever their team takes, right? But more information. We kind of ripped on some people for some tweets, although Kuharsky oversold that a little bit. If you're putting up a poll that's just saying, what do you think now after – now, granted, like, what are you supposed to think after rookie minicamp? Like, they're really – it truly is like throwing against air.
It means
or
nothing.
Some tryout players, yeah. You make some more – Levis makes some amazing throws coming up like in OTAs or in minicamp or in training camp. It means a little bit more.
Yep.
Joint practices, preseason games, you build up to actual NFL football. Rookie camp's tough sell, man.
It is.
I mean, but he looks the part. He's running around. He's throwing it well. I think his media stuff, he's been good in that. So, is the tide turning? Are Titans fans, is it more Lovis than Levis?
Ooh. I don't know whether to applaud you or to tell you to turn your microphone
probably
off.
Should turn them off on mic. Let's be honest.
Nah, it's Billy Jeans.
Well, Billy Jeans, that name is fantastic, and that will work either way. Like if he's great, then he's Billy Jeans, and like we can come up with a song.
Yeah,
that won't be hard. And then if he's bad, then Billy Jeans is a great insult too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in all seriousness, like the rookie minicamp stuff is just what it is to me, which is not a whole lot. Like, it doesn't mean anything. But I don't think that what we saw from Levis in those videos from rookie minicamp is really anything different than what we've already known. Like, the guy can throw the football very well. I think we know that. Like, he's got a heck of an arm. He's got a good release. He's got good arm talent. Like, there's a reason that he was discussed as to potentially being a first-round pick. And, heading into last season, could he be the number one overall pick? Like, there's a reason for that. And I don't deny that. Then the question becomes, how many guys have we seen roll through the league where they've got arm talent and they've got a cannon back there and it just hasn't worked at the NFL level? So that's going to be what really the determining factor is for Will Levis is how can you process the information in front of you? How do you read the defenses? Can you make the right decision with the ball more times than not? That's what it's going to come down to. But I have never doubted and do not doubt his ability to throw the football, his arm talent.
Yeah, you'd think that someone who would be drafted to be an NFL quarterback could throw a football well.
Yes. Spiral and all.
Yes, with some velocity and whatnot. So,
Josh in Kentucky says, can Levis actually make it through a whole month as a Titan before we start worrying about 2027? You tell him, Josh. Get after Porth.
I mean, but, man, just absolutely putting it out there. It's a called shot. Porth is on the record for a called shot. He used to call like 17 shots a week when he was around here.
He did.
We are going to remember that one, Ryan Porth.
2027 will not be the starting quarterback. I mean, let's just think about that.
I mean, he may be right.
I mean, look. Well,
I mean, it's going to require an extension for him to be the quarterback.
Correct.
There's no fifth-year option.
He would have to be extended at that point.
He would have to be extended. So
if he comes through and it doesn't look good, then Porth could be right.
What's the percentage chance that Porth is right about that?
I mean, the percentage chance is probably pretty high in terms of, like, most quarterbacks don't make it, right? So, like, I would put the percentage chance at probably over 50, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I put the percentage chance of well over 50 again on any of these quarterbacks. Now, not getting like a fifth-year option. I mean, some of them are going to be good enough to, I mean, Mariota got the fifth year, right? Yeah, he got the fifth year. That
Correct.
was his fifth year, right? Yeah, that
Correct.
was his fifth. He got the fifth-year option and then no more. But,
right.
But yeah, no, I'd say it's more than so. It's not like it's some crazy idea that he'll be right, but still, it's just like, wow, man.
Well, it'd be very disappointing.
Right
if he
for the
is.
jugular.
Right? Like it would be, when you're drafting somebody that high to be your franchise quarterback, your thought process when you're doing that is, hey, let's get 4 good years out of him. Your thought process when you do that is, let's get 10 to 12 years out of him.
Right. Like by 27, that he should be like in his prime. He should be moving into the best years of his career as your quarterback. Keith says, Billy Jeans is not my Levis.
Oh, very good.
Nice.
Very well done. I got a texter that says, when they picked Levis, I hated the pick. I'm a Vol fan, and me not liking Levis had nothing to do with him playing in Kentucky. It's based on how he played. I feel a little better about Levis because you saw the raw talent in minicamp. It ultimately comes down to how he can develop when live bullets are coming his way. Vols fans across the board opening their hearts to Will Levis as we speak.
Yeah, that's the main group of people that you got to win over. JC says, who has a better arm, Tannehill or Levis? A better arm.
Better arm.
I'd say I might – look, first of all, like Malik Willis has a better – like if we're talking like arm strength, velocity, Malik Willis has a better arm than Tannehill. If we're talking what really matters, accuracy – well, I think Tannehill absolutely. Based on what we saw, despite all the things that happened around Levis that weren't good and weren't helpful, I think there's still some erratic accuracy there that Tannehill does not have. So I would say Tannehill. But if you're just talking about who has the more explosive arm, probably Levis.
Probably Levis. Ken on the text line says, my opinion hasn't changed. I hated the Levis pick then, and I still hate it now. That's from Ken on the text line.
Honestly, I appreciate anybody who's sticking to their guns right
too.
now. You'll be by the time we get to late July, you'll be on the bandwagon. Don't worry.
That's right. 615-737-1025. We'll take more of your thoughts on Will Levis. Got some more of those thoughts to get to on our text line. Plus, interesting and national perspective on Will Levis, and we've had countless examples of that. We talked about Charles Robinson on this program, talking about Will Levis, and the tone has not always been good. Why do we think that is? We'll get into that coming up next as well. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
94.9 The Fan is your home for Hit City.
Tonight, the Sounds continue their 6-game series on the road at Durham. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Sounds win. Pre-game at 5:20.
On your home of Nashville Sounds baseball. 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
What's up, everybody? Michelle Knezovic here for Superbook Sports. Bring that big bet energy this summer with Superbook Sports. Superbook Sports is the most trusted name in the sports betting world. And right now, if you use the promo code THEGAME, you can score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they will match your first bet up to $250 with the promo code THEGAME. It's the name of our station. You'll never forget it. Hope you listen to a couple of the props that I gave you these last 2 days. Looks like Miami covered that 8 last night. Hope you listened. And Denver the other day. So back in action tonight for the NBA. We got the Nuggets and we got the Lakers. This one's a tough one, but I think I'm going to take the Nuggets again, minus the 5.5. I think they go up 2-0 in this series. LeBron had to play a lot of minutes the other night. So did AD. I'm just not too confident this team can go back-to-back like that. So give me the Nuggets minus the 5.5. I think they win, and I think they cover that spread. Simply visit superbook.com for terms and conditions, or you can download the Superbook Tennessee app in the App Store. Enter the promo code THEGAME, and you'll get $250 courtesy of Superbook Sports. If you got a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes are keeping you from getting burned this summer. If you know your home needs an air conditioning replacement, do not wait until it breaks down. You do not want to be sweating in your home. This month, get a free UV light and free electronic air cleaner when you buy select new HVAC systems. Or get a whole home water filtration for just $59 a month. Or get a new whole home generator for just $139 a month. Call Hiller's Heat Wave Heroes to save the day. Visit happyhiller.com to book.
Family Leisure invites you to vacation at home with a new spa, pool, patio furniture, or wood play gym this summer.
I really want a spa.
40 spas on display from Artesian, Best Spas, and American Select.
Prices starting as low as $29.99.
Family Leisure has over 100 sets of patio furniture with free delivery.
That sounds good to me, too.
We should really look at the wood play gyms for the kids. Family Leisure has the Diamond Point swing set on sale at only $24.99 installed. Family Leisure's vacation at home sale in Franklin and Antioch.
Family and fun come together.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Want to see our smiling faces? You can watch us on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook Live.
We are good to go.
Presented by Superbook Sports, voted #1 sportsbook in Vegas. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode.
It's part of this nutritious breakfast.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio. Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Charles Robinson coming up at 8 o'clock, so looking forward to that discussion with him. Taking your thoughts on Will Levis and the Titans, 615-737-1025. I got a texture that says, and I quote, Porth is an idiot, end quote, on the text line, discussing Porth's take that by 2027, Will Levis will not be the starting quarterback when the Titans open their new stadium.
Succinct and to the point. Oh, speaking of idiot, real quick, I did find who Kaharski was referring to yesterday.
Yeah, so did I.
And then I watched the dude's video. Well, Kaharski, you've met your intellectual match, my friend.
Just beautiful stuff that came from our program yesterday.
Yeah, and I wish if we had like an underground version of this show,
which is probably
like on the dark web, I'd play the whole video of the guy ripping Kaharski. It is funny. We may need to get a little snippet of it though, just to throw at Kaharski next time we have him on.
Aren't they both from Jersey?
Be careful. I don't want to get any oxygen here.
Oh.
Be careful.
Sorry, guys.
But yes, it's like Jersey Shore Part 8.
Oh, man.
The situation is dire for you, PK.
Gym tan laundry.
Man.
Oh, God. So good.
Don't know where to go from that. Matt from Franklin on the text line says, I'm not sure if this has been talked about on the show before, but what about Malik Willis moving from quarterback to either receiver or slot receiver to take advantage of his athletic ability? It's from Matt from Franklin.
Yeah, he's a quarterback. He's not. I mean, he's a good athlete, but if we're going to talk any sort of position switch to receiver, it's Caleb Farley. That's all I will listen to.
That's right.
Okay?
Or Ryan Tannehill. He's played it before.
Listen, Malik did line up last year. He was out there for a couple snaps.
He did. But if you seriously did want to take a quarterback and move a quarterback to receiver, it's absolutely Tannehill. Yeah. That guy actually played it at a pretty high level at Texas A&M.
Well, we heard it here first. Will Levis starting quarterback, Traylon Burks number 1 receiver, Tannehill number 2 on the outside.
Well, you could get all 3 quarterbacks on there at one time. If Tim Kelly is a good OC, he's going to figure out a way to do that.
AB on the text line says, everybody needs to calm down. Will Levis will be the best quarterback in this year's draft. That's from AB on the text line.
Okay. We'll see.
You got another text that says, the only one that has problems with Levis are goofy Vols fans that were in love with the Colts and the Broncos.
But again, that does not describe Porth.
It does not.
Look, there are some people, and by the way, on that text, yes, it was autocorrected to Levi's. It's amazing.
A lot of Levi's.
I've typed Levis in my phone many, many times now since the draft, and it still goes to Levi's.
It's the power.
At what point does that end?
Power of the brand.
I mean, I don't even really wear Levi's anymore. I prefer Toughskins. But and you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Wrangler.
Yeah. I got a toupee that has a big bald spot on the top of the head just so it looks authentic. You just made me lose my train of thought with your toupee talk. No, that does not describe Porth, and there is a non-Vols backlash as well.
There is, and there is a backlash coming from basically like a national perspective too, and it's interesting because there's the Mel Kipers of the world that love Will Levis, that think that Will Levis is the bee's knees and he's going to be the best quarterback in the draft and all those things. Mel Kiper loves Will Levis. But there is a lot of discussion nationally about Will Levis, about maybe the attitude that he brings to the table. We've talked about, our buddy Charles Robinson and some of the things that he's been told or that he's discussed.
Got some questions for him later.
As it relates to Vrabel and Will Levis as well. What do you make of kind of the national discourse around Will Levis since the Titans took him at number 33 overall?
Well, for anybody who didn't see the Charles video on Yahoo, so it was Charles and Jory Epstein, and they were kind of having fun. They're just having a good time with it. And basically talking about like stuff that Levis said, and then here's what Vrabel said, and it was kind of funny. A little bit of like Vrabel kind of throwing cold water on some things, like including like the throw and everything, into team meeting, all that stuff. But the overlay wording on it says, does it say Vrabel hates Levis, or does Mike Vrabel hate Will Levis? Right?
Yes.
And so then Mike Herndon goes after Charles. And they go a little bit. Charles is like, well, let me show you my credentials or whatever. I'm making fun of Charles before we have him on the show. And it goes a little bit of a back and forth on that. And then apparently they took the wording off.
I didn't see that.
Apparently they took the wording off. We'll need to ask Charles about this.
The original video tweet is gone because we tried to talk about it yesterday. And I was like, let me go re-listen to this quick. And then I was like, this tweet does not exist.
Yeah, because Charles did say in that little tweet thing, he's like basically we don't put the words on it. So the whoever produced it and put that in went a little farther. But still, like even that conversation is a little bit of like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a little, hey, let's make fun of Will Levis. Levis is an easy target, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe I'm being sensitive here on WHMR, but it feels that way a little bit.
Well, and we talked about, the interesting discourse around him. There's a lot of reaction to your piece that you put out there last week at theathletic.com, kind of talking to some people that were close to Will Levis and some of his family members and things of that nature to try to get some background on the type of person that he is. I think that there's a enough controversy in terms of like who thinks he's going to be good and who thinks he's going to be bad when it comes to just the player itself. It is a little mystifying to me, like this narrative about him, and just in terms of his attitude or his demeanor or the cockiness that he brings to the table. Like it's a different discussion with him than I feel like anybody else coming out of the draft this year at the quarterback position.
I'm trying to think of, compared to the quarterbacks this year, nothing. I mean, he was absolutely just the target. And again, there are performance questions that are totally fair. How does this translate? What all happened this year? There's plenty of reasons too, or excuses, whatever you want to call them. The performance of it's fine. The personality, all that stuff is really interesting. I actually have a little bit of a theory, but first I want to get to two quick texts. Okay. First of all, Pete from Adairville says Stetson Bennett will prove all the haters wrong and will outperform Levis, Stroud, Richardson, and Young.
Has he graduated?
Yeah. How could Stetson Bennett not have a freaking UGA degree after a decade in college? He Tommy boy?
I saw that too.
Stetson boy?
He's been at Georgia since Herschel Walker was there, for goodness sake.
That's wild. And again, Stetson Bennett's a good player. I think Stetson Bennett is destined to hold a clipboard in this league and
play under Vince Dooley, for God's sake.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, he's not gonna. I don't think Stetson Bennett is gonna be a good starting quarterback in the NFL. Now he'll probably have a start or two and look good, And then Gordon from Nashville. The Titans didn't love Will Levis, autocorrected to Levi's. That's my problem. And I think that's a very fair thing to bring up. It's like, okay, yes, get behind our guy. We love him. And we waited until the second round to take him and took a guard instead of him.
Right.
It's a fair thing to bring up.
Yep.
How much did you love him? And how did he fall to there? Like, it's not just narrative discussion. It actually did happen that he fell to the second round.
Yep, no question about it. We'll take your thoughts on that, get Joe's theory on the reaction to Will Levis and the narratives about him that are out there now coming up next. 615-737-1025, our phone number if you want to weigh in. Tune in for Nashville Sounds Baseball tonight at 5:35 on 94.9 The Fan. Sounds taking on the Durham Bulls, the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. Sounds Baseball on 94.9 The Fan, presented by 312 Pizza, Farm Bureau Health Plans, and Family Leisure. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game has an all-star lineup Monday through Friday. Batting first at 6 a.m., it's Robby and Rexrode.
Yeah, you take that. Take me 80% of that.
Followed by Chase and Michelle at 9.
Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
I need my caffeine so much.
Then it's Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace at 11.
Yep, green light, let's go.
You've got a lot of options.
He say, she say. And bringing it home at 2, Jared Stillman for Stillman & Company.
That guy will be a good coach.
We are Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Krebs Kubota wants to help you get your job done right with the parts you need and a service department that can handle maintenance and repairs from the largest excavator to the smallest 2-cycle engine. For your farm, home, or commercial needs, Krebs Kubota will keep your Kubota running like a Kubota. Krebs Kubota, Middle Tennessee's preferred equipment dealer, with convenient locations in Columbia, Franklin, and Murfreesboro. Also online at KrebsKubota.com.
Music City will be rocking June 23rd through the 25th with a different sound, the sound of NASCAR.
Start your engine!
The Ally 400 is back at Nashville Superspeedway, and this year, it's a night race. NASCAR in Nashville. It's guitars and fast cars under the lights. Visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com to get your tickets for the triple header weekend, including the Ally 400, Tennessee Lottery 250, and the Rackley Roofing 200 today.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called Testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text HUNK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text HUNK to 321-321. That's HUNK to 321-321.
Broken bricks, falling fences, damaged doors, Gorilla Glue. Of course. It's incredibly strong and 100% waterproof and bonds, well, virtually everything. While you're at it, look for Gorilla Tape, a heavy-duty double-thick duct tape, and Gorilla Super Glue, great for all your quick fixes and repairs. There's also Gorilla Epoxy, Gorilla Wood Glue, Gorilla Construction Adhesive. Of course. You get it. If you can break it, Gorilla can fix it. For the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Sometimes he gets lonely and needs some company.
10 for 17 for 45 yards in his career with 1 interception.
This is one of those years where it's a step back for them.
And that'll create more one-on-one situations and make it easier for him to throw the ball down the field.
It's Stillman and Company.
You've got real talent.
With Jared Stillman. Weekdays from 2 to 6 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is Mookie Betts. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, where their advanced pay by TJ option can save you thousands when selling your home. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Charles Robinson coming up at 8 o'clock. Looking forward to that with him. Taking your thoughts on Will Levis, 615-737-1025 is our phone number if you want to weigh in on our phone line or our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Joe Rexrode, you have a theory as to the reaction to Will Levis and what that narrative has looked like nationally since the draft. What is said theory?
Well, my theory is on the process leading into the draft. Okay, when you think of misinformation, for example, we heard about Levis in interviews. Now, I'm not dismissing that. I'll go back to like what I wrote last week and talking to Matt Hasselbeck. He's like, yeah, I think maybe some people thought, well, Levis was like a little too intense, wanted it too much, whatever. You never know what kind of things can offend the sensitivities of an NFL personnel person, right?
Yes.
But there was some other things flying around. So when you think about misinformation, why do you think that happens leading into the draft?
I think it's usually because they want to direct attention away from someone so that they can take that player.
That's exactly what I think. But what if there was let's say an agency or agent of someone at a competing position who wants to help his client at the expense of another client?
I can see that.
It's just a thought, just a possibility out there with Will Levis. In terms of, you think about the other quarterbacks, you think about the jousting, you think about the possibilities.
Yep.
This guy going, I mean, it really could have gone a bunch of different ways. I'm going to take Jim Irsay at his word. I mean, Jim Irsay, how would you not take Jim Irsay at his word on anything he says?
Hey, he was ready to take Will in the second round, do 2 quarterbacks.
Did he say that too?
Yes.
Okay, because what I heard him say was basically they were going to take him at where they took Richardson.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this could have been a very different outcome for Will Levis. And you're talking about $20 million or so, something like that, $20 million plus that got taken out of his pocket by dropping from the top of the first round to the top of the second round.
Yep.
So, just another thing, I don't think we think about that much in the draft because, like you said, I usually think about it in terms of, yes, this team actually likes this guy, so let's throw some stuff out there and see if we can get this guy to drop. Or you get really those deep conspiracy theories like Vrabel trying to talk someone into tanking a
S2 score,
a cognitive test. CJ, pretend you can't think. I promise it'll be good for you. You get to play for me in this offense, behind that offensive line with no receivers. Come on. Buckeye. O-H-I-O. Totally makes sense. But
CJ, pretend you've never seen a football before in your life.
See, if they say like touch the screen with the dot moving, just hit the other button. Go pretend you can't see the dot. Okay, but I don't think that maybe we give enough credence to the idea of when you have a situation like this. It's a particular position. There's so many quarterbacks that are going to go in a certain spot that the idea that there might be some negativity thrown out there to help someone's client at the expense of someone else's client. The agent business can be a little bit dirty.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, it's the agent. You're worried about getting the best deal possible for your guy because, number one, that makes you look better. Number two, you get paid more when that happens. So, I mean, that's what the business is I totally annihilate the microphone in front of me right now. Very passionate about this subject. Agents, fire me up, Joe.
Yeah. Man, don't. I hope you don't treat agents like you treat microphones.
I got a texter that says Will Levis may not start in 27, but he'll start before 2023 is over. That's from a texter on the text line. That's a call shot.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's a real possibility there. The Titans are not good this year, and it probably happens at some point.
I think that could happen at some point. Now, there's still like this idea out there that, what if like the Titans cut Ryan Tannehill after June 1st? But don't you think they would have like designated that by now if that's what they wanted to do?
Yeah, that's not. I
mean, he's out there in the sled video that they put out yesterday, just shoving sleds up and down the field.
Right.
Tannehill's going to be here in training camp.
Yeah, look, I will keep open the possibility of someone out there loses their quarterback in camp and actually is willing to, give the Titans a decent return. But even then, at that point, you've gone all through the process of trying to build this team, build up to this season. Look at what the veterans are talking about this week, all the work they're putting in. Like they're, now the process is here's the team basically. How can you win football games? It's still hard for me to believe the Titans, unless it's like just really compelling, or Levis looks so good they're like, actually, he might be okay as a rookie, that they would really consider that at this point.
I do want to ask you though, because you brought up an interesting comparison that we hadn't really thought about, and I'm trying for the life of me right now to remember where you got this from and what article it was, and you might remember. I think it may have been The Ringer, but the comparison to Justin Herbert when we were talking about Will Levis, right? So we've talked a lot about, Josh Allen and the upside of, if Will Levis's career works out, could he be a Josh Allen? But like Justin Herbert came in to Chargers camp, and pretty quickly they were looking around and they said, man, this guy's good. Like, he can throw the ball. He can make any throw. He's ready to play right now. Like, what do the Titans do if they get into camp and Levis looks really, really good? Like, do you give any consideration whatsoever at that point to starting him this year?
Well, only if he's better than Tannehill. I can't get there. I can't get there in believing he would be. Unless it's also in tandem with Tannehill taking a tangible step back.
Well, but let me ask you this. Like Justin Herbert's rookie year, is that better than what Tannehill is right now? Like he comes in and immediately is ready, and he looks great. Like if Levis does that, would that qualify, I guess is the question I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I mean, he certainly was very good for a rookie, Justin Herbert. Now I want to go back and look. I mean, I think – look, right now you would certainly put Justin Herbert ahead of Ryan Tannehill.
No
right?
question.
I'm trying to remember if he had some growing pains as a rookie. I assume there were some. But, no, I mean, it was – the thing about him – yeah, that's the thing.
His rookie year is pretty darn good.
Yeah. It's saying he is that guy who was absolutely discussed kind of the same way, not with all the extra BS on the side, but discussed kind of in the same way in terms of being erratic. Like, what is this guy actually in the NFL? He was so kind of up and down. the talent was undeniable, but like, is he going to be a consistent performer in the NFL? And he was pretty.
Well,
good.
I mean,
Okay, so fine. If you tell me that Will Levis can be Justin Herbert right away, then great.
Well, but I bring that up because it's easy to look at his rookie year stats, right? Like he threw 4,300 yards, he had 31 touchdowns, 10 picks. So he had a great rookie year. It's easy to look at the stats now and be like, yeah, you should have started. But my point is, like, there were conversations coming out of camp of like before he ever took a snap in the NFL of, man, this guy's good. Like he can make all the throws, and he is way better and way more ready than most people thought he would be immediately.
Yeah. Maybe that happens here too. Another big difference between those two is Herbert is plug and play in an offense loaded with talent. Right? And ready to rock. And I don't think that's the situation here. But, I mean, reps are going to be interesting too. Because, again, it's like Tannehill's going to get the ones reps. So how many opportunity, and that's the difference. I'm trying to think, like, who else was at quarterback that camp for Justin Herbert with the Chargers?
Was that the was that the same year that Tyrod Taylor got stabbed by the training staff
syringe
and
needle?
The syringe? Yeah,
I think that is right. So even then, it's like, I mean, that in that case, you're talking about a journeyman guy can start, is pretty good, definitely a good QB too. That's different than this, though.
Agreed. Kenston on the text line says, even if Levis looks really good, what would be the benefit of moving on from Tannehill? At worst, make him the backup. Injuries happen. Would much rather go into the vet as a bench Tannehill than Malik. I guess going into the season, would they bench Tannehill than Malik as the backup?
What would be the benefit? Well, there's no benefit. Again, if this team is now, and I'd say it is now trying to figure out just how you can be as good as possible and win football games next year, then, yeah, the only benefit is if Levis just looks better than him and you're like, you know what, actually this kid can actually do some things that we can't do anymore with Tannehill. I don't think that's going to happen. And I just think Tannehill's experience and quickness of decision-making and accuracy, that stuff is going to be hard, I think, for even a very talented rookie to overcome.
I agree. Now, let's say just for the sake of this discussion that he does overcome that, to Kenston's point, like, would you still keep Tannehill as the backup at that point? I mean, it depends on when it happens, right? Like, if you're in the season, then yeah,
sure.
Probably.
Right. Just like Mariota hung around and supported Ryan. Ryan can hang around and support Will.
If it's in camp, then it would be like, well, does another team need a quarterback at that point? It's just a whole bunch of hypotheticals you could go into there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, unless there's a compelling trade situation, then, you gotta either way, you should have a pretty good QB2 this year.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe that's Malik Willis.
Well, that could be too. He is still on the roster. I'm looking forward to watching Malik Willis after this offseason, knowing the situation, and how he even compares out there to Levis right away when they get into OTAs and stuff.
I am too. I think it's going to be really interesting. 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, it is time for the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode. You can check it out every morning at 7:45 here on the program. Make sure you join us for the second annual Music City Celebrity Golf Tournament presented by Gary Force Acura, benefiting Souls for Souls, coming up on June the 7th at Hermitage Golf Course. You can put your team together and come play with athletes, musicians, and other local celebs to support a great cause and have loads of fun. Plus, you'll have the chance to win awesome prizes as well. You can sign up to play, sponsor, or donate at thegamenashville.com/golf. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
When it comes to Nashville sports,
locking up Jeffrey Simmons, clearly that was a priority for them.
He knows his stuff.
A little bit good, a little bit bad.
And knows how to push the right buttons.
He's coming off an ACL tear, and he's 25 years old, so you cannot ignore that.
Join Outkick's Chad Withrow every Friday at 5 with Stillman and Company. Withrow.
What I hate more than anything is people that are phony and not true to themselves.
Is on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormonal deficiencies and imbalances. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve your quality of life. improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit our website at coolspringsmd.com.
Being value conscious and getting the most for your money is so important these days, and that's why it's more important than ever to shop at Genesis Diamonds, the undisputed value leader.
Part of the education at Genesis Diamonds is we explain to you how we travel the world and purchase our diamonds, how we buy in bulk, we pay cash for our diamonds so we can save every possible percent to save you money on your diamonds.
Genesis Diamonds Vice President David Cooper.
There are no middlemen, there are no other wholesalers or dealers, so we cut out all of those extra added markups and pass those savings on to you.
When you combine that unmatched value with a totally no-pressure shopping experience, you know you're in the right place.
Because we do not work on commission, our sole purpose is to make sure you get exactly what you want. There's nothing in it for us personally, whether you spend $1,000 or $100,000.
That's why at Genesis, people often end up spending less than they had budgeted.
Our goal is to purely present you with options so you can choose exactly what you want.
The value you want, the experience you deserve. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
4! I wish I was a better golfer.
4 is an odd word to yell.
Whoa, where'd you come from?
It's me, Flo, and I'm here to grant your wish of Progressive taking $50 off your deductibles. Just choose the Deductible Savings Bank feature and finish your policy period without filing a claim or having a driving violation.
Great, but what about my golf swing?
Oh, I just do insurance. Sorry.
Sign up for Progressive and opt into more savings. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Safe driver discount not available in all states or situations.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text HUNK to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone-boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now, and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text HUNK to 321-321. That's HUNK to 321-321.
Tonight,
the Eastern Conference Final gets started in the Stanley Cup playoffs as the Carolina Hurricanes host the upstart Florida Panthers. Carolina, Florida, just as we all expected. Our coverage begins at 6:30.
Your home for the Stanley Cup playoffs is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Sometimes he wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. And sometimes he's just, well, Joe.
Awkward moment, let's do it.
This is the Rex Rant, now on Robby and Rexrode.
Pete Thamel, who, of course, had it first last week that Jeremy Pruitt was out the door, now reporting that Josh Heupel is finalizing a deal to be the next head football coach at Tennessee. So it's looking like this is definitely happening. Just complete silence.
Buckle up, everybody. You know, I'm sure Josh Heupel's a nice guy, and he's done some good things as a coach. He should not be getting this job. Now, again, I'm going to compile a list before the end of the show of all the people they should have hired before Josh Heupel. And you can't tell me he went to all these places. I mean, I in some cases, I know he didn't. You got to keep an open mind with this guy and try to look at the positives, and there's going to be all kinds of spinning about how this makes sense. But this is, to me, not a good day for Tennessee football.
And it is that time of the day, time for the Rex Rant here on Robby and Rexrode. The takes were spewing on this program the day that Josh Heupel got hired.
Did I have bronchitis then, too? Like, what was wrong with me?
I don't know.
So busy screaming about how they shouldn't hire Josh
Maybe
Heupel
so.
that I had no voice left?
Well, let's see that list you got there, Joe.
It wasn't just you.
Yeah.
I was not happy that day either, just in all fairness.
Yeah.
I think we're wrong.
Well, you gotta own that one, man.
Yep.
You gotta own it.
By the way, before you get to your Rex rant, a quick programming announcement. Young Buck will be joining Stillman and Company today at 4:30 to talk Ja Morant. So Jared going to have Young Buck on the program at 4:30 to discuss Ja Morant. So looking forward to that.
Who's that?
You know who Young Buck is?
I don't either.
He's a rapper. Y'all never heard of Young Buck?
Young Buck?
You never heard of Jack Harlow? I called him Josh.
No, I've never heard of Young Buck. I have a teenager who actually likes a lot of different Memphis rappers. Young Buck.
Young Buck? He lives here.
Okay. He
In
lives
Nashville.
in Nashville?
Is he friends with Ja?
I have no idea. I don't know who Young Buck is friends with.
Okay. Well,
Young Buck will be on the
all right,
program.
Young Buck will be on the
He'll
program.
be on the
All right.
program at 4:30 today.
To be honest, I thought you were referring to another Buck in
I
town
did
and just
too.
calling him Young
I was
Buck.
like,
and I was
wow.
like, huh.
Boy, that's an interesting cross promotion there.
No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Well, that's throwing me off. But you know what? My rant is about our radio station.
Okay.
So here we go. So I'm just gonna do this with our account because like last night I kind of glanced at Twitter. I've been trying to kind of stay off Twitter, especially at night. Like just be present in your home and all that stuff. But glance a little bit and our guy Nick Keyser, and congratulations again to Nick and Michael Gallagher, and the site is
Nashville Hockey Now.
Nashville Hockey Now. A whole bunch of play-by-play about a Milwaukee Admirals playoff game. And now listen, we had it on the air. I'm not going to rip us having it on the air. The Preds are done. The Admirals are in the AHL playoffs. So there's a ton of players on that team who are also Nashville Predators. And when someone tweets something like there was a Askarov with dangling way out,
He's almost at the blue line.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean that's okay, that's cool. Or Kemmel scores a goal. You know what? A highlight of Kemmel scoring a goal, and I think he has 4 in the postseason. That's a relevant stat. Cool. I think Nashville Predators fans,
it's a good
are
sign.
interested in prospects and how they're doing. I could not care less. Could not. Remember, not could.
Okay.
I could not care less about the results of a minor league hockey team.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't understand why this has become such a thing.
People are fired
Why
up, man.
and why am I bothered by it? I don't know. But the hockey people I follow here in Nashville are tweeting play-by-play of this stuff like it's going to the box with 3:17 left in the second. This is a big power play. I tell you what. What? The Milwaukee Admirals. Why are we doing this?
People love hockey around here, man.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's Stanley Cup playoffs are on.
Not last night they weren't.
Well, that is a fair point.
I feel like more people do care just because so many of these players were on the Preds.
Yeah, half their team is on the Preds at the end of the year. That's the reason.
And they think Carl Taylor's going to be the coach.
Well, yeah. I mean, now if that turns out to be true, then unfortunately we have to nod approval to one of Jared's conspiracy theories. But I totally get prospects. Yeah. As a baseball fan, when the Toledo Mud Hens had a prospect I was excited about who might be with the Detroit Tigers, then he went 4 for 5 last night? Okay, nice. Did the Mud Hens win? I don't give a crap.
It's the playoffs, man. Barry Trotz said on this program last week that he is looking for serial winners. That was the phrase he used, serial winners. And you don't become serial winners, Joe Rexrode, by losing in the second round of the playoffs. They won last night. They're up 2-1. They're 1 win away from the conference final. Serial winners. That's why people care. They're looking for serial winners.
What was Connor McDavid's record in juniors? How did his teams do?
I actually don't think overly well.
Thank you. It does not matter.
They were good because of him, but I don't think they actually won the championship. I have to go back and look.
Yeah, look, winning, the habits of winning, all that stuff, I agree. That's good too. Okay, it's a good thing. You'd rather win than lose.
Correct.
But I just
definitely would.
don't want play-by-play ever of the Milwaukee Admirals on anything I look at ever.
Well, this leads to a larger discussion. The play-by-play of anything on Twitter drives me nuts.
Well, that's fair too.
Now, I get it. Like, if something happens or, I'm even okay with like, hey, so-and-so's going to the box. They're heading to the power play, whatever. Friend of the program, Greg Allman, who we've had on the show before, who covers the Tampa Bay Buccaneers down there. There were times last year I was like, man, I might have to mute Greg Allman because it's literally, 3-yard handoff to Leonard Fournette. It's 2nd and 7 coming up for the Tampa Bay Bucs at the 27-yard line. It's like, Greg, they have an ESPN app for that. If I want to know where the Bucs are on the field, you can just look at that. But the play-by-play is a huge problem on the Twitter.com.
It is.
Honestly, I catch myself during NFL games sitting in the press box about to tweet something, and I'm like, Rexrode will get mad.
Yeah, like we're all watching.
Yeah.
Anybody, I had like this could be.
Although I am looking forward to you tweeting play-by-play from London when the Titans are there this year, specifically.
And you're
for
not.
Koharski.
You're on your couch.
Yes,
you're in Nolansville.
Oh, believe me, all it will be like, crisp air in London today. The thing is, yes, play-by-play is a problem. Anybody who cares enough to read your tweets, who would want to know that tweet, is watching the game.
Or calling play-by-play.
Or also they're annoyed because it's like, wow, what a huge conversion, and their TV's like 8 seconds after. Like, thanks for spoiling it for me. There's no benefit to it. I get in these arguments all the time with Chris Solari, my buddy who covers Michigan State for the Free Press, who Izzo told us, most annoying guy on the beat.
Yes.
Love you, Solari. Yeah, he's a Greg Allman-style play-by-play tweeter. It's absolutely unbearable. But you know what's more unbearable? Doing it for a minor league hockey team.
Jacob from Murfreesboro on the text line says, I'm one of the more active people on Pred's Twitter, and I could not agree more with Joe. We simply do not care about how the Admiral season ends. Chip from Mount Juliet on the text line says, yes, these are players we'll be seeing in Pred's uniforms. That's why we keep our eye on the Admirals.
Good.
Chip
Again, I like, the video of Kemmel scoring, good. Askarov bench pressing, great. Do that. What was the score? Don't care. Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
I think we have now discovered room for an Admirals update on the program every day. 5 minutes of Milwaukee Admirals
I'm going to take Joe's phone, and I'm going to set Twitter notifications to every time Nick tweets for you. So you get all those updates.
And it feels like you have a conversation to have with Nick Keyser later in the day. Today.
And I wouldn't be able to unchange it.
You wouldn't be able to figure it out?
No, I just said unchange it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, again, Nick, excited for Nick. He's going to write a lot of good stuff, and that's cool. Write more about the Preds, less about the Admirals. That's my advice. Young Buck apparently was in G Unit with 50 Cent. I didn't know that.
I'm very surprised you don't know who Young Buck is.
Dude, I like Kendrick Lamar, and then I'm going back to Jay-Z. I'm sorry.
All right.
Okay.
Josh from Murfreesboro says on the text line, the only winner I want to be is a serial winner. This is from Josh from Murfreesboro on the text line. Thank you, Josh.
I kind of like serial winner. That's kind of a cool phrase, but also it's kind of gross if you think about it, because it's like based on serial killer.
I guess.
Or cereal. We don't have to look at it.
I don't think he meant like.
No,
I don't think he meant a Frosted Flakes winner.
But I'm choosing to think of it that way.
Well, you can use
Frosted
the
Flakes
cereal
winner.
phrase more than just on the killer.
I know, but we really don't. We don't.
Way to make it morbid.
He does. He's now making the cereal something else. But
cereal with an S.
I can't help but think of like Ted Bundy on skates.
Yes, not Lucky Charms winners.
Right. Leprechaun would be a heck of a serial killer, by the way.
Would be 615-737-1025. One of the most wild Rex rants of all time. We covered a lot of ground on that one there.
We did. We hit a lot of areas, a lot of grievances.
Coming up next, we'll be joined by Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports. Looking forward to talking all things NFL with him. That is next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
All the big plays.
Ball right to score. Yoshi sets up.
All in one place. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Green flag is in the air.
It may not happen that way every game.
His shot stopped.
Gotta play better, gotta coach better.
TD Tigers.
The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen. Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been serving golfers since 1968. Let us help you find the hottest gear from bags, balls, shoes, and apparel. All in stock at the best prices. Come in and test drive the latest arrivals from Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping, and more. While you're there, get custom fit by one of our golf experts. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at EdwinWattsGolfShops.com.
Keep listening to 102.5 The Game for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Dave Matthews Band at Bridgestone Arena, Friday, May 26th, courtesy of Green Trees Company Dispensary. Listen for your cue to text to win DMB tickets from The Game and our friends at Green Trees Company Dispensary.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect. Support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase. Make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Your Game Center update.
I'm Michelle Knezovic. The Miami Heat with a huge road win in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final, 123-116 over Boston. And it was Jimmy Butler who led the Heat, 35 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 steals. The Milwaukee Admirals take another win in their series against Texas. They're up 2-1, and now they'll head to Texas to finish out the series. The Tennessee Volunteers are in the early stages of exploring building an entertainment district on the campus that will connect Neyland Stadium to Thompson Bowling Arena. Jason Fitz weighed in on where he thinks the Titans sit in the NFL.
I think what most people believe is that the team will be handed over to Will Levis and then will go full incomplete, like, hey, we're in rebuild mode. So, we're going to try out young talent, see what happens. I feel like that's the overall tone around the Titans for a lot of people. I just don't see why that would make any sense for the organization. I mean, they are in a situation where, frankly, I think they have the ability to see what they have in some guys while they're also still competitive, and they're in a trash division.
Game 2 tonight for the Lakers and Nuggets. Tip-off is set for 7:30, and the NHL is back in action tonight. The Panthers and the Canes in Game 1. I'm Michelle Knezovic for 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025thegame or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 1025 and 1063.
A gunny performance. Do your job.
And the Tigers regain the lead.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mix mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive, this is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty. On Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Final hour, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning. And as we do every Thursday morning at 8 o'clock, we go to our 102.5 The Game phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And welcome in our friend Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports, brought to you by the NFL Alumni Association. Charles, it's been a rough time in your neck of the woods lately with the San Antonio Spurs winning the number 1 overall selection in the NBA draft the other night. Houston fans upset everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm a Detroit fan too. So
oh boy,
I'm also the draft lottery is stupid. I mean, it really is. It's just ridiculous. I get it, with the NBA. It's funny to me though to watch every year this debate happen about whether or not the NFL should have the draft lottery. No, the NFL should not have the draft lottery. I think the draft lottery is dumb. If you want to stop tanking in your sport, there's other ways to do it. But legitimately, there's no way you could watch some of these, including the Rockets, the Pistons, a number of these teams, and not have ruled that they were objectively bad. And to watch teams that are in that situation fall as far as, look, Detroit, the Pistons fall into 5. It's just, that's completely ridiculous. There's no way you should be drafting 5th when you had a team that basically had no ability to play defense last season, and you can tell me that, sure, a number of teams that were clearly better constructed and more ready to win now should have draft picks ahead of them. And there's no way the NFL. We got to stop this argument about whether or not the NFL. Are you guys in favor of the NFL potentially having a draft lottery?
No, God, absolutely not.
I didn't even know that was a thing. I'm offended you brought it up.
No, it happens every year. You get, Mike. I think Mike Florio was one who brought it up this year, which I don't have anything against. I like Mike. Mike and I talk, and I always think it's an interesting debate. But everybody brings it up every year. Someone will bring it up of note, and I just don't understand, particularly with the NFL, why people don't get this idea that in the NBA you can take a generational player that can change a team. And I can see why the NBA is like, look, when a LeBron comes along, when, a Victor Wembanyama comes along, a Tim Duncan, whatever, you don't want teams sitting there going, well, yeah, that overnight we could potentially change our fortunes with this player. The NFL is not like that. There's no quarterback you can take that's automatically going to change your franchise forever. Caleb Williams next year, whoever takes him number 1, is not going to be able to do it by himself. It's just way more difficult in the NFL for any one player to transform an entire team the way you can in the NBA. So you want to stop tanking, hammer teams, you figure out a different way to go at it. Don't turn a situation, don't turn fan bases suffering through a god-awful 1-16 season into, hey, guess what? Now you get the 5th pick, Titans fans. Even though you watched your team go 1-16, you're going to draft 5th. That's stupid.
So, Charles, speaking of quarterbacks, it's an interesting situation to monitor right now with Joe Burrow specifically. I want to just kind of ask you about the idea of a quarterback, especially a Joe Burrow or a Justin Herbert or somebody of that level, taking less money to keep players on his team around him. We saw the Brady stuff and Brady do that, but what do you make of that idea, how it's viewed by other players at that position, and whether or not you think Joe Burrow might do that?
Well, it's interesting because Mike Brown, the Bengals owner last summer, was the one who, after Patrick Mahomes had kind of expounded on why he took this 10-year, $450 million deal, Patrick Mahomes kind of expounded on it and said, basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, I'm going to be fine. I make a lot of money off the field. I'm set, financially for life. And it's about, being able to build a team around him. The team, even when he signed the deal, I remember Andy Reid Brett Veach, the general manager in Kansas City, both said it was a team-friendly deal. It's something he wanted to do. And Mike Brown, on the heels of Mahomes kind of expounding on it last offseason, brought up that, hey, I like that. I like that he said this. And, of course, Mike Brown was going to say that because he knew he's got a Joe Burrow deal coming up. And there's really kind of, at that point in time, and I think it's bore out at this stage, you've sort of seen three ways these super elite quarterback contracts can go. You can go the Deshaun Watson route, which clearly now has become an outlier, but it still exists, which is, hey, shorter-term deal, 4 to 5 years, fully guaranteed, massive escrow hit for ownership, going to create problems almost immediately in terms of having to reshuffle the money, which the Browns already had to restructure once going into year 2. And that's only going to become more of a burden moving forward. And then the next route you can go is the more traditional route that we've seen Jalen Hurts go, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, all these other players, which is put me at the top of the heap, give me, close to the highest, guaranteed number possible that's not Deshaun Watson or somewhere in that neighborhood, get my APY, $1 million more per year than the last guy or whatever it's going to be, which is another burdening contract that you can manipulate and shuffle with good cap people. But also it weighs heavily on teams. And then there's the Mahomes route. You're giving a team long-term control, like a decade of control. And if that APY stays where it is, and Mahomes do this when they sign the deal, you're going to have, within a couple of years, it's going to look like a dated deal, which Mahomes does. I think he's 6th or 7th right now in terms of APY amongst quarterbacks. By the time Herbert comes in, Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be like the 10th highest paid quarterback in the league APY. And technically, the team won't be on the hook for any long-term guaranteed money. I know they're not cutting Patrick Mahomes. That's not the idea, but it is an element of control that you're handing over that will make it easier for them to retain certain players around him. And, so that's what Burrow's staring at. And I think what was surprising to me was that Burrow came out and said he's indicated, now we haven't seen him do the deal yet, so we don't know for sure, but he's indicated that he's entering into this going, I want to keep Jamar Chase, I want to keep T. Higgins, I want to keep these other guys that I know have extensions. And so that's kind of the pathway we're trying to take when we negotiate this deal. It's interesting, not a lot of quarterbacks. It would only, as I put it when I wrote about it, there are really only 2 other quarterbacks in Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes who have done this, where they've approached it and said, I'm going to take a sub-market deal, not necessarily maximize my salary. It's going to allow us to build the team around me, and we'll see what the success looks like. I would just say about those 2 guys, they earned so much money off the field, both of them, because they were literally probably the number 1 marketed player in the NFL that had afforded him the opportunity to do that. I love Burrow to death. I think he's a great player. I don't know that he's ever going to be the number 1 most marketed player in the NFL.
I don't know, man. If Home Alone 4 comes out,
I
he can play the dude.
Have you seen, like, Burrow has this, like, following on social media?
Oh, yeah.
It's like
he has a what?
Yeah, he has, like, this following on social media that is not football related at all. Like,
people love him for Joe Burrow.
It's total obsession with him, and it has very little to do with football. It's all about how Joe Burrow looks, and it's just like
skateboarding or something. Like, what's he doing?
I don't even know how to do.
He's just dreamy, man.
I'll send you like links to it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's. I ran into it last season. Some people started sending me, check these accounts out and stuff, and I was like, it would be like videos like on different mediums where you'd be like 7 million people view this in like 2 days. Like, what is going on? And it was definitely not in the football vein, I will put it that way.
Sounds like he could get some serious NIL money.
Maybe he could, maybe so.
Yeah, if he wants to go back. Yeah.
So Charles, we really don't have time right now. I think we may need to take a break, but I want to go to break with this question for you. Why are you, Jory Epstein, and Yahoo Sports haters of Will Levis? I'd like you to. I want you to have a couple minutes to stew on that and come up with an answer.
We'll get into that coming up next. We'll have more with Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Nashville Sounds baseball lives on 94.9 The Fan. Catch every pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Every hit.
That's a base hit.
Every run.
Looking up, it's gone.
On your home for Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Whatever your destination in life, you can get there easier with a checking account from F&M Bank. At F&M, our checking accounts give you the tools you need to manage your money well, like our smart free checking account that's actually free. Because sometimes the basics are more than enough, making lives better by making banking easier. Come see us at one of our branches or online at myfmbank.com. F&M Bank, banking made easy, on purpose. Member FDIC.
Whether you're popping the question or ready to say I do, there's only one true jeweler to shop for your one true love. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. As a true jeweler, we not only have luxury designer collections to meet your bridal needs, but we also have talented in-house designers who can create something truly one of a kind. For more than 75 years, our expert staff has been caring for couples just like you and providing the absolute lowest prices guaranteed. Visit us at the Diamond Cellar in Green Hills. The possibilities are endless.
Men, at the Tennessee Men's Clinic, our urologists and providers have been helping guys with erectile dysfunction and other sexual health issues for years. And unlike some, at the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we take a comprehensive approach to your sexual health. Our sole focus is to treat ED and related conditions. ED can be affected by a bunch of things, from hormones, prostate issues, medical conditions, and even simply aging. The fact is, most guys experience it at some point in life. If you're suffering with ED, it's extremely important to see a provider that understands how your medical conditions, hormone levels, and other factors can impact your ability to have sex. That's why you should come to the Tennessee Men's Clinic, where we have treatments that are effective in nearly 90% of cases. I can't tell you how many guys we've seen that thought their situation was hopeless, only to be wildly surprised. So give us a call today. We'll do some blood work with a T-check and a medical consult to give you the best shot at success. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. We have 2 offices, Midtown and Franklin.
Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra, results vary.
2 guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same 2 guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Are your investments going nowhere? Here's a tip that always pays big dividends. Invest in yourself, your talent, your smarts, your skills. Maybe it's time to make that investment and start a career in IT or upskill to boost your current career. At My Computer Career, you can bank on us. We'll help you get the right skills and the right certifications to start or advance your IT career. IT keeps growing, so go with the growth at My Computer Career. The right training, the right timing, the right career. Invest in you at mycomputercareer.edu. Start now.
Anyone want to tell me what happened? Did you miss any of today's show?
It's okay. It's fine. Don't worry.
Subscribe to the Robby and Rexrode podcast on Apple, Spotify, and other podcast platforms, or by going to theGameNashville.com.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
Good morning. You're locked into Robby and Rexrode, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty.
I have the radio on. I'm listening to
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We have more with Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports, brought to you by the NFL Alumni Association.
You know, Charles, you get into, you even got into some sniping with some people in this market we like. What? Okay, so, and then, now wait, okay, so for people who don't know, I'll quickly recap this. You guys have, you and Jory are on the podcast, kind of, talking Levis, a little bit of some of the stuff that, like, Vrabel kind of threw cold water on some of the stuff he said or whatever. But the overlay says, does Mike Vrabel hate Will Levis? Now, I took that as you guys are kind of having fun with it, a joke, but some people took it very seriously. And then, though, you deleted it or you took the wording off? Like, what happened here, Charles?
Oh, I didn't delete it. They took the video down just because.
Did you tell them to?
Well, let me put it this way. Joe, you and I have been in the business long enough. Have you ever, and it never happens, where an editor puts a headline on your story that doesn't fit the story? That never happens.
That's a good point. I can't recall any instances of that. Yeah.
I can't recall in my entire life ever having an editor get their hands on a story and put a headline on and going, yeah, that doesn't really fit what I wrote. Like, I mean, I don't fully understand. Or, God forbid, a podcast of all things with literally minutes and minutes and minutes of context. A whole chunk of a podcast gets boiled down into 60 seconds, and it's the spiciest possible stuff that gets clipped together. And then someone makes an editorial decision to ask a question that you didn't actually ask. I mean,
so we've hit a nerve here.
Hey, listen, no offense to anybody at paulkaharski.com. I'm sure maybe you write your own headlines. I'm sure maybe you guys are doing your own editing, but we work in a place, and I don't think it's any different in some of the other shops, where a year does not go by in which a piece of content does not get posted, in which you see something where an editor does or says something, and you're like, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. Unfortunately, I've gotten so used to when they post anything with the podcast, I just retweet it because I'm like, okay, I was on the podcast and, it's a piece of content. I'm helping to promote the podcast. And I literally retweeted it. I think it was the night before.
The blind retweet? The blind retweet?
The blind retweet. Just, okay, it came from the Yahoo Sports site, whatever. And then, of course, then you're like, wait a minute, why are my, notifications blowing up a full day later? I don't even know what's going on. And then when I look at it, I'm like, well, we didn't actually ask if he hated Will Levis. What is going on? The only thing I ever take umbrage with, and part of the reason why the video got pulled down is because we didn't actually ask that question. And, I'm not going to sit here and defend an editor asking the question. I take umbrage with this idea that well, these people have never watched a Mike Vrabel press conference. Geez, obviously they don't know what kind of person Mike Vrabel is. I'm like, dude, give me a break. I stood in front of Mike Vrabel when he played for the Patriots. Okay, he was here for years in Houston. This is not my first rodeo with Mike Vrabel, And if I understand the piece of content, people getting upset about it. Everybody, circles the wagons for, draft picks and their guys and everything. I'm not even saying it's an illegitimate question about, why would you let someone cut something in a way in which it doesn't reflect necessarily what the conversation is. But I also think it's completely unrealistic to think that never happens in media. And I'm not going to lose, I'm not going to blow a gasket about it, whatever. It was funny to me. And when the video got pulled down, I was like, hey, well, at the very least, when Will Levis has a 400 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Bring it back.
Yeah, I won't have that video coming back about, oh, Mike hates Will Levis, who just threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns.
When they're tearfully embracing and people are pouring Gatorade on both of them at the same time, like flash dance or something, like Irene Cara flash dance, and it's all gonna come back at you. Oh, I can't wait. Right. Yeah, you are now known as L.H. Robinson, Levis Hater Robinson. Yeah. Now
when Mike's, by the way, when Mike's first grandchild is Will Vrabel.
Yes. All right, I have a Levis-related question. This is philosophical, but you could apply it directly to this situation if you like. So, misinformation, draft misinformation, which I typically think of as a team likes a prospect, so hey, let's throw something, let's dirty the water a little bit. Yeah, not sure about this or that. Get it out there. Maybe it helps us get them. How prevalent is, let's say, hypothetically, this year you got a bunch of quarterbacks kind of jostling for a limited number of spots at the top of the draft, like an agent of another quarterback, for example, putting stuff out to harm the client of a different agent. How prevalent is that, if at all?
I guess you could say it's not limited to just quarterbacks. I mean, I think
like it would be anything where there's a competitive situation to draft, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it does happen. I mean, I don't think, especially with agents. I mean, agents are always going to pitch the idea of their client being better than everybody else's client, and they'll tell you, this guy has character issues, or this guy, they'll bring up certain cut-ups, or they'll find whatever statistical analysis most supports their vantage point. I think that's pretty regular. I don't think that's unusual. And then even teams, I mean, even inside organizations, you'll have, I'll give you an example. I had an AFC team this year that was in the market for a wide receiver. Coaching staff and the head coach in particular really liked one kid, and the front office and the area scout, the over top scout, they really liked another guy, and there was clearly there was a rift there between the two. If you talk to people in the building, they would pitch their guy, kind of like, running down the player who actually got drafted. Meanwhile, if you talk to the coaching staff, they love the kid that got drafted and thought the other guy was overrated, whatever. And this is inside, one organization. So everybody's going to fight for who they think the better player is. And then once it plays out, they'll have their excuses for, why their side or their thought process wasn't state of the art at the time looking back. But it's prevalent, but I think for reporters and media and all this, we have to sort of sift through that. And I don't know if this is like a Will Levis conversation. I will say this about Will. He was definitely one of the prospects, and I think you have to look at it as a sort of tapestry of different people you talk to, where you would hear a lot of the same things. And it did not feel like, this is a grand, massive conspiracy to say that Will Levis has an acquired taste personality. I will say this: Will's not alone. He went through that in a much more difficult way than most prospects do because he's a quarterback. Everything with a quarterback is blown out of proportion, to the millionth degree. It's just how it is, particularly anything that people think reflects on leadership or how's he going to gel with the coaching staff or players or meeting rooms, yada, yada, yada. Aaron Rodgers is a great example. His entire career, as good as Aaron Rodgers has been, he's always rubbed certain players wrong, teammates. There have always been people inside the Packers that did not like Aaron or the way he carried himself. There were other people who were like, I am literally just employed, for years because of Aaron Rodgers and the ability that he brings to the table. Levis, quarterbacks are like that. I mean, unless it's not like Tom Brady didn't get ripped internally with the Patriots. He did. There were people with the Patriots that did not like Tom and thought that, particularly people in the front office where they would push, hey, drafting, this certain rookie receiver or whatever, and then they would feel like Tom just disassembled them as soon as the player was through a half dozen practices in training camp, and they hated that. They felt like, hey, Tom destroyed this guy's confidence, and he's not the same. The best players have it happen. It's prevalent, though, definitely. But it's upon people to understand what they're hearing.
Headline: Charles Robinson compares Will Levis to Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. But you know what, Titans fans, leave that one up. You leave that up.
You keep that one. That's right. Well, Charles, we really appreciate you taking time to be with us today. As always, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, sounds good, guys. Take care.
Absolutely. Charles Robinson from Yahoo Sports, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode. We'll take your thoughts on what Charles had to say there. 615-737-1025 is our phone number, 615-737-1025. We'll have more on that coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The NFL offseason is in full swing, but you'll never miss any of the big news. Thanks to Yahoo's Charles Robinson.
They know that there's a chance that they're going to have to deal this guy.
He's one of the best insiders there is.
All of a sudden, he becomes a functional player who we thought was just trash.
Join Charles Robinson every Thursday morning at 8 on Robby and Rexrode, presented by the NFL Alumni Association on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
The choice is yours. Wednesdays at 8:45. Brought to you by Jarrett Companies. Now hiring experienced sprinkler experts. Go to jarrettfire.com. JARRETT fire.com. Jarrett Companies, a company above and beyond industry standards.
Now through Memorial Day, get fantastic deals at Electronic Express. Get a Hisense 65-inch 4K TV for just $349, or an Amanda laundry pair for $399 each. Electronic Express has huge savings in every department: computers, appliances, 4K TVs, smart home, furniture and mattresses, and more. Don't miss out on a Vio laptop for just $499, or Nintendo Switch bundles as low as $429. Shop in-store or online with up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Get ready for the power of Godsmack on their new world tour with special guest I Prevail, May 23rd, First Bank Amphitheater. Featuring songs from their new album, Lighting Up the Sky. On sale now. Buy tickets at livenation.com. Part of the Farm Bureau Insurance Concert Series. Buy tickets at livenation.com.
Bar Lines in the Omni Nashville Hotel stays true to the spirit of Music City, the perfect spot for sports and arena concert fans year-round. Savor Bar Lines Originals, the Bar Line Barbecue Burger or Midtown Mushroom Swiss Burger. Excite your taste buds with the Sobro Grinder with smoked turkey, the Boss Hog with whiskey braised pork butt, and the Angry Chicken, pickle brine fried chicken breast with honey sriracha. Attending an event downtown? Bar Lines in the Omni Nashville Hotel, open daily at 11 a.m. is a great way to kick off your afternoon or evening.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been serving golfers since 1968. Let us help you find the hottest gear from bags, balls, shoes, and apparel. All in stock at the best prices. Come in and test drive the latest arrivals from Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, Ping, and more. While you're there, get custom fit by one of our golf experts. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Shop us in store or online at edwinwattsgolfshops.com.
Keep listening to 102.5 The Game for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Dave Matthews Band at Bridgestone Arena, Friday, May 26th, courtesy of Green Trees Company Dispensary. Listen for your cue to text to win DMB tickets from The Game and our friends at Green Trees Company Dispensary.
Bon appetit. Take some Titans.
Derrick Henry.
Some Preds.
Roman Yossi.
Even some hoops.
Light fires. Wow.
Put it in a blender. And what do you have? Chase and Michelle.
Pretty incredible.
Call or text and weigh in.
The fastest 2 hours in sports radio. Weekday mornings at 9 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Hey Nashville, this is David Price. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Make sure you check out Nashville's best deal of the week. It's for Bavarian Beer House at Opry Mills. Bavarian Beer House, Nashville's only authentic German beer hall, is a place full of fun, food, music, and most importantly, beer. You can enjoy traditional German bratwurst, schnitzel, giant pretzels, and more. Just go to thegamenashville.com/deals to get a $50 gift card for $25 to Bavarian Beer House while supplies last. Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by Superbook. We are live from our 102.5 The Game studio, brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Thanks to Charles Robinson for being with us. Did seem like that struck a nerve with Charles on the video. Talk about the Vrabel and Levis situation there. You were digging.
I must say.
Capital J journalism.
I must say. A headline or two has been problematic in
it does happen
in my years. But it's funny though, the blind retweet, man. The blind retweet will get you.
It will.
Also, we have a new term now that I may have to start employing a lot.
Okay.
Acquired taste personality.
Oh yes.
An acquired taste personality.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's good.
We all know a few people like that, though.
Go ahead, name some names.
What are we talking about?
Who you got?
Well, I just mean, like, everybody has somebody who they meet at first and they're kind of like, not sure how I feel.
My wife.
But then you get to like them once you get to know them better, and you're like, this is just them. Like, I feel like most are like, I mean, you wouldn't know the people, but.
By the way, that was a reference to Katie thinking that about me. Just want that. To be clear. Okay.
Yep. I'm glad you cleared that up.
Yeah. I thought she was amazing from day one.
Joe and his puppy dog eyes.
Yeah. His Lego hair.
Toupee.
Yeah.
Your toupee.
Toupee with a bald spot in the top to make it look real.
Joe, would you like to react to what Charles had to say, or do you have more thoughts on the Admirals playoff win last night? Which way you want to go?
Well, I have thoughts on how I'm on Twitter, and now, of course, Twitter is just – I keep saying I'm going to get off Twitter, and then I don't. But, like, there's all this random crap that now is in my feed that I want nothing to do with. And a lot of it's political. I want nothing to do with it. But then I have, like, a fan in Texas like, I got to meet Askarov last night, like, which is cool. Good for you. But why is it on my feed? Like, I talk a little bit of trash about the Milwaukee Admirals, and Twitter is forcing them into my face.
You have been seeking out and finding play-by-play updates for the Milwaukee Admirals. It's okay to admit it.
No,
now.
you don't need to seek it out.
Joe was live streaming the game last night.
What's that?
Joe was live streaming the game last night.
And by the way, yeah. And by the way, it's gone now, but speaking of Twitter, it was just trending. #MIL, M-I-L hockey.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
People around here fired up, man. Fired up about the playoff
Be
run.
fired up about the individual players.
I think they are. I think that's why. What do you make of the quarterback discussion with Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert kind of next up with the big money contracts? We saw Jalen Hurts get his deal. We saw Lamar Jackson get his deal. And the next two coming up are Herbert and Joe Burrow. And there's a lot of talk about Joe Burrow right now potentially taking a, quote, team-friendly deal in order to keep the talent around him. And as Charles brought it up, like a lot of people, it's a very rare thing to do. Burrow has talked about kind of alluding to that in his press conference and wanting to have players around him to build around as they move forward and be competitive, with obviously Jamar Chase and T. Higgins kind of heading the list there. We don't see players actually do this a whole lot, and part of that is because, of course, you want to maximize your value, but also part of that that probably doesn't go talked about enough in sports is like players and the Players Association kind of hate it when players do that, when they don't take their max value, because
So do agents,
because you're not resetting the market where they think it should be at that point. So what do you make of this discussion around Joe Burrow specifically, maybe taking less money in Cincinnati than he's worth to have guys like T. Higgins and Jamar Chase maybe around for the long haul?
Are you suggesting the salary cap is real?
Whoa.
Yeah, I think the only people who could possibly consider things like this would be the superstar quarterback who, again, like we've talked about, has all kinds of income coming from other places and can afford to sacrifice a little bit. Apparently, Joe Burrow's hotness is a big part of his money making. But to me,
it's a dreamy guy, good-looking cat.
And the fashion.
Yeah.
Fashion trends. Remember last year, the fur coat with the glasses?
Yeah, he's worn some stuff that's really goofy to me. But sure. But I always thought with Brady, like Robert Kraft is putting money in a Swiss bank account, and he's just going to have enough money to buy an island at some point, right?
Maybe.
During those times.
Yeah.
Like what would stop, obviously you would never do anything while he's playing for you and jeopardize anything, but what would stop Robert Kraft from like post-retirement just giving Brady, here's the number to this Swiss bank account, all the money that you forfeited, here it is, and it's actually also acquired a lot of interest.
Headline.
Why not?
Robert Kraft has Swiss bank account waiting for Tom Brady.
Yeah. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Now that's playing chess.
Make it worth your while. Some of this is like ego, and it's like, Mark, I should be the highest paid. I mean, like look at all these deals. That, now I'm the highest paid, whatever the position is, and then a month from now, I know he'll be higher than me, but I have a month of being number one. And it is like you don't want to get taken advantage of, and you know how fleeting things are in this league.
Yep.
So for the most part, yeah, it doesn't happen. But I mean, I applaud Joe Burrow. If there's actually some sacrifice he can make, and it actually tangibly means they get to keep another player or two that they wouldn't otherwise, why not? I mean, you're trying, because ultimately, if you do win rings, then, and I'm not saying this is the driving force behind it, but there's a benefit too. If you actually win and win rings, then all your marketability and everything is going to go up from that too.
Well, right, like Mahomes is a great example, right? His average pay per year is $45 million, which is a lot of money. But he's not – I don't even think he's in the top 5 anymore in terms of the highest paid players in the league. Now, you could say that. Now, he's also signed through 2031, and if he plays out the whole contract, he's going to make $503 million. So the guy's going to be all right. I mean, we know that. But it's just a different way of doing things. Like, Jalen Hurts got his money. Good for him. Like, nothing's wrong with the way that Jalen Hurts or Lamar Jackson or anybody else approaches the contract. But as Charles brought up, like, we've seen Brady do it, and we've seen Mahomes maybe kind of take the team-friendly deal. That's about it. Like, it doesn't really happen all that much. And if Burrow does that, that would kind of be kind of the next guy that does it. But Herbert's not going to do it, I don't think. Burrow, you also don't have two players like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on a team very often to keep that around.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like, what are the positions, where you have like premium players you're trying to keep, and some of them are just higher pay. For the Titans, they got a premium player at a cheap position, Derrick Henry, for example. But if you have two like number one caliber, receivers, then that does make it a little bit more challenging. This is amazing. Did you see what Will just sent us?
No.
I totally remember this, man. I don't know why. Will from Nashville just sent us the little story of Kaharski. I swear, this totally changed Derrick Henry's outlook on media. I swear, this is all on Kaharski. Click on that URL.
Okay.
Just click on what he said. This is a USA Today story. It says, Derrick Henry receives unfair judgment on first day of rookie minicamp. Because it was this Kaharski video about, like, Derrick Henry. I totally remember this, like, missing something in a drill. And everybody's like, you suck, Kaharski. You're so mean. And then I swear Derrick Henry, like, loved us. And then since then, he doesn't like talking to media.
So it's Kaharski's fault.
Yes. We're going back 7 years. May 15th, 2016. What great memories.
Good pull from Will from Nashville on the text line there. It's going back.
God, Kaharski is amazing.
Liam on the text line says, when did the Bengals owner stop being a clown? He's going to mess this up at some point soon, isn't he? That's from Liam on the text line. There is the thought out there that the money could be a problem when it comes to Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and all the money those guys are going to make, and that maybe the Bengals would struggle to pay that. I don't know. I mean, they're an NFL owner, so I would hope you could do that. But
yeah, so you're talking about not the cash. You're talking about what Jared says is the only consideration, the cash. Not the cap, the cash. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, that whole discussion is you own an NFL team. You are in a business that is absolutely growing, and your investment continues to look better and better. You can find the cash to pay players on your team.
Yeah.
Yes, some more easily than others. Every single person in the NFL has at least $2 billion of net worth. I find that to be a ridiculous conversation.
Well, and how much money has Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and Jamar Chase being on the Bengals made the Cincinnati Bengals at this point too, with everything that's going on with them down there.
The idea that anyone
or up there,
yeah,
they are north.
The idea that anything, but actually the rules that you do have to stay within, like you can find ways, but like it's not an endless adjustment that you can make. Yeah, other than that's you're going to pay people if you can pay them.
So I guess the idea that we came into the offseason with of T. Higgins potentially being available at some point, if Joe Burrow has his way, that's probably not going to happen in Cincinnati.
Yeah, well, and it's interesting too because if you're T. Higgins, this sounds great and all, but do you still feel like, somewhere else as the guy, my value is still maximized, and I can still do a lot better for myself, and I can still go somewhere and win.
Well, that's the thing, because if the quarterback takes less than he's worth, like in the back of their minds are Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, like, man, does that mean I have to take like less than I'm worth just because the quarterback did it to try to make everything work here? I mean, you don't have to do that if you're those two guys.
Just let Joe do it.
Yeah, just let Joe do it.
Just do the Home Alone face and take less money. And we'll take more.
Just keep being TikTok famous, apparently, and make money that way for Joe Burrow.
Yeah. DJ Burnside, fastest illustration ever, by the way, with Joe Burrow as Home Alone, as Macaulay Culkin.
Photoshopped Macaulay Culkin's face over the top of it, which is not that different, although Joe Burrow a lot better looking.
I mean, Macaulay Culkin was, good-looking dude.
There are some things that may have happened with Macaulay Culkin.
That's true. He's had a rough go.
615-737-1025.
Never know where this show might go.
Phone number 615-737-1025. Have more of your thoughts to get to on our text line. We'll get back into the Titans coming up next as well. This is Robby and Rexrode, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Manich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics on Nashville's best sports talk, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Last year, Jerry was all like, hey, I'm going to go to the Big Machine Music City Grand Prix this year. Then he didn't. Instead, he decided to weed his garden. And he missed an August weekend of IndyCar racing, super truck racing, even night racing, all through downtown Nashville. Sure, old Jer had a lot of weeds to pull, but Jerry also totally sucks. Hey, don't suck like Jerry. Get your tickets at MusicCityGP.com for August 4th through 6th. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Get amped.
Looking for an engagement ring that'll really knock her socks off? You need to be at Genesis Diamonds.
It's such a privilege at Genesis Diamonds for us to work with the world's finest designers, to be able to offer brands like Tacori and Verragio, and we're excited to be able to give you something nobody else can.
Genesis Vice President David Cooper.
The craftsmanship, the detail, the quality, the individuality is bar none better than anything else.
Genesis has been selected as an exclusive provider for every top designer from New York and California, with over 4,000 rings to choose from. And if that's not enough, they can create something that's truly one of a kind.
We can custom craft you literally anything you can imagine. We have the capabilities to realize any dream you have. Things that other stores may call new, we've been doing for 3, 4, and even 5 years already.
So don't settle for a ring with a stale design or with inferior craftsmanship. Let Genesis help you get the look, the quality, and the value you deserve. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs, voted year after year best jewelry store in Nashville.
Want to enter the construction field as a career? Make good money and finish with no debt and earn while you learn. Average starting salary over $18 an hour. First year of college averages $10,000. 4 years of our Construction Trades Academy, a total of $800 to $9,600. Applications are open with first-year scholarships available. CTANash.com. ABC Greater Tennessee Construction Trades Academy. Apply today. CTANash.com.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high-commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Tonight, LeBron and my Lakers battle the Nuggets in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals.
They have to play better, they have to rebound better.
Our coverage on 94.9 The Fan begins after Sounds Baseball. Your home for the NBA playoffs.
It's 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
You're locked into Robby and Rexrode.
Every morning, first thing.
Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty, helping home buyers and sellers in Middle Tennessee for 20 years. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic here with you on this Thursday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts, 615-737-1025, our phone number, 615-737-1025.
So Will and I going back and forth on this PK video, and it is amazing when you read this. You know, so PK, again, put out this video of Derrick Henry, and he, stumbled and going through the bags.
Back in 2016.
Yeah, yes. Back in 2016, rookie minicamp, May, 7 years ago. It is amazing. But here's the thing. and this is a nice little contrast to Kaharski yesterday, like, oh, you're talking about Will Levis like he's so awesome. Why is he so awesome? Because of one throw in rookie minicamp, right? But to be fair to Kaharski, he just threw out the video. Now, look, maybe on his show back at the time, he was ripping Henry. I don't remember. But this little thing from USA Today, here's for Nick Birdsong. I don't know him, but Sporting News, this is a quote. Quote, maybe he's going to be terrible at the next level. This is about Henry.
Sure.
Stepping through some bags. And then Ryan Phillips from The Big Lead also suggested that the first day in minicamp could signify Henry's troubles in fall training camp and beyond.
Yes.
And then also in this thing, Jim Wyatt had a video that was more thorough, and Henry went successfully through I thought I could be wrong, but I think also Kaharski had a video of Henry dropping a pass and was like, "Oh, he can't catch the ball." So, but I don't think Kaharski was making sweeping judgments at the time. I don't think so. We'll have to ask him next time.
Yeah,
we have him on.
We'll have to get all over that. 615-737-1025, our phone number. Joe, we brought this up earlier in the program, like the path to the playoffs for the Titans. Is it as simple as you better beat Jacksonville and win the division, or could there be a wild card path to the playoffs for the Titans as well? Based on the AFC, and we talked about Baltimore and the Jets earlier a lot, two different off seasons, but Lamar's back in Baltimore. If they stay healthy, they could be pretty good. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is now with the Jets, so the AFC is becoming harder that way, at least on paper. You've got Sean Payton now with the Broncos. We'll see whether or not he can resurrect what we saw from Russell Wilson a year ago. I still kind of have my doubts there, but we'll see what happens on that front. But bottom line is, on paper, a lot of really good teams in the AFC. So is there a realistic path to the playoffs for the Titans that does not involve winning the division in the AFC South this year?
I think there is, because the AFC is so good that I think you may see some teams drag other teams down. And I don't – just because the AFC is loaded. The AFC is way better than the NFC. So I suppose because of that, you may see a lopsided overall record between AFC and NFC, which means better records than the AFC, but I think you're going to see a lot of beating up on each other in the AFC. And look, the Titans have the NFC South. If the Titans didn't have the NFC South this year, and they had the East looks pretty
East.
good. If they had the East again, what'd they go against the NFC East last year? They lost to the Eagles, they lost to the Giants, they lost to the Cowboys, and they had required a David Long Jr. pick of Carson Wentz on the last play, basically, to beat the Commanders. So they were lucky to go 1-3. So I think any of the other divisions in the NFC, the Titans, I would not like the outlook as much. I like it with the NFC South. I think that the wild card is on the table.
Especially if it was the North, man. If they had to play the Lions, jeez.
Well, that's next year.
I know.
So and by then the Lions should be in full Super Bowl form. So really, it made time out even worse. And this year, the Lions are probably just going to get to like the NFC title game.
Right.
They're probably not quite ready for a Super Bowl dynasty that's on the way. Next year, the dynasty starts. So
correct.
It's going to be so. Enjoy it this year. No, I think. Look, in all seriousness, I think a wild card is absolutely on the table. At like a 9-8 team as a 7 seed in the AFC. Yes, I think that's possible. You go through these schedules, and it's not like I've gone through every one. I went through Jacksonville's earlier on the show. A lot of good games on there, a lot of tough teams on there, and I think it's not going to be a bunch of like 12-5, 11-6 teams, and then a total drop off. I don't think.
I don't think so either. Now, I would also imagine if you're an NFC South team, like if you're New Orleans right now, you're looking around, you're saying, the Titans. It's not bad.
Ooh, the Jags.
The Texans.
Not
the Colts.
The Jags. Sorry, not the Jags. The Jags are amazing. They're Super Bowl caliber.
Correct. The Colts and the Texans. It's one of those situations where, we're doing a radio show here in Nashville, and we're looking at the NFC South, and I agree. It's the weakest division on paper in the NFC. So it's a good draw for the Titans this year to have that. Meanwhile, a radio station in New Orleans right now is looking around saying, look, the Saints, they get the AFC South. It's a good draw for the Saints in the AFC too.
Who dat?
Yeah.
They say that too.
They do.
On WHMR in New Orleans. Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice for both sides. I mean, I suppose maybe this is how it should be. You put the crap against the crap and put best against best, and we'll see what happens. But no, the Titans. I mean, look, the Titans' schedule again. If they can go 2-2 in the first 4 games, there's a lot of potential winning on the rest of that schedule. A lot of meat on that bone.
Yeah. Jim on the text line says, pull up a picture of Tim Robbins from the Shawshank Redemption. He could pass for Joe Burrow's twin. They even kind of have a similar hairstyle when I think about it.
Interesting.
Burrow's kind of smart.
Interesting. Could Burrow break out of a prison in that manner?
Spoiler alert.
Wow. Come on. Who out there hasn't seen Shawshank Redemption?
It's on TV every day.
Oh, Michelle just raised her hand. I think I've already said this before. Nick Keiser. Listen to me, Nick. He's not on the mic. Just ask Nick Keiser.
Yeah, he's seen it.
Okay, thank you. How old are you,
It's on
Nick?
TV
How old
every
is
day.
Nick?
He's younger than me.
Yeah, he's 27. Yeah, dude, come on. Everybody's seen Shawshank
24.
Redemption. Except you. You're 24? Except you. Dude, we have to have an intervention with
I don't
Michelle.
really watch TV.
It's not TV. It's a movie.
Or that.
Like, I need to put together a list of most infuriating movies she hasn't watched.
I do
That's
love my
gotta be
reality
on
TV.
there,
though.
Near the top.
Yeah, so you're going to watch reality TV for hours instead of, It's like
Love is Blind.
Like here's
No,
here's
not
filet
that.
mignon, but no, here's some Twizzlers. No, eat the filet mignon.
Well, you're just it's like your crack.
It's just like your
the
opinion,
TV.
man.
Just like your opinion,
Which,
man.
by the way, is another great movie you've never seen called The Big Lebowski.
Bingo, correct.
Yeah, and you've seen it, Nick. Are you sensing a theme here? This
No.
helps you in life.
I'm like poor.
To be able to quote movies helps you in life.
Michelle, just start live tweeting Milwaukee Admirals games and you'll be fine. Watch those movies too.
Oh God,
Joe watches those.
Keiser's already got a huge notebook ready to like chart every single shift tonight of whenever they play again, which I don't want to know.
Mike on the text line goes, "Wait, Andy escapes?" Mike on the text line.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Joe's ruining movies left and right.
You're like
on the program. Here
You're
today.
watching. You're like halfway through watching it right now at 8:54 in the morning.
It's
like,
probably.
no!
I mean, the odds are it's probably on TV somewhere as we speak right now.
That is a good point. Mike says, "Turd-soaked path to freedom." Oh my God!
Took a long time to carve out that path, man. Long time.
Michelle has no idea what we're talking about. Turd-soaked path to freedom.
In the last 15 minutes on this program, we've discussed Macaulay Culkin and now a turd-soaked path to freedom.
You know,
Andy Dufresne.
Andy Dufresne, not an acquired taste personality.
No.
Likeable right from the start. He and Morgan Freeman. What's his character? That's what's his character's name?
God, why can I not think of Freeman's name in that thing?
It's such a great movie.
It is.
I mean, it's such a great movie.
Oh, man.
I know, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Joe, game 2 tonight between the Lakers and the Nuggets. Who you got?
You know, I've got the Nuggets. I said it earlier. I think it's really bad for the Lakers that they came back and made that a game, and LeBron had to play the whole game as they furiously tried to steal it.
Yeah.
And I think LeBron is like, he needs like his little kind of like walking days here and there, and I think tonight might be a walking day for LeBron. So I think the Nuggets go up 2-0, and the Lakers are going to have to regroup at home.
Lakers win tonight. I'm going LA tonight on the road. They'll even up the series at 1. I think LeBron has a big night, so does AD.
I'll bet you a cup of coffee on Chase's coffee machine that we've broken into his office to use because he didn't order us coffee.
By the way, Red is the name of.
Oh, duh!
Yeah,
Thank
duh.
you, Andy and Red.
We're complete
Yes.
idiots.
Yeah, I won't spoil it. They may or may not be friends.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll see what happens tonight. Game 2 between LA and Denver. Game 1 tonight between the Panthers and the Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Final in the NHL as well. And Joe's favorite time of the year, the PGA tournament or PGA Championship starting today as well. That does it for us today on the program. We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. Go ahead.
Real quick, Keith had a text that said #MILF hockey.
Yes.
That's a great combining of themes on the show today.
Thank you very much. Chase Michelle up next. This is 102.5, 106.3.